Are we on?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's live coverage here on Elections Daily for the primaries here on May 17th. We are 30 minutes out from poll closings in North Carolina and an hour out from poll closings in Pennsylvania. I am Joe Szymanski. With me tonight is our editor-in-chief, Eric Cunningham, and contributor and writer, Dylan Brown. Gentlemen, thank you for being on tonight. It is fantastic to see everyone here. It is a big night tonight. Obviously, no results yet from either of the two biggest states of the night, North Carolina and Pennsylvania. But North Carolina, Eric, I know that's your bread and butter. That's your home state. That's where you've lived all your life. So we're going to pass it to you here first.
Yep.
Give us a rundown of what's going on in North Carolina today.
All right. So North Carolina, we've got a bunch of races that we pretty much know the result of, and then we've got several that are really, really interesting. So let's start with the Senate primaries. We're expecting Ted Budd and Cheri Beasley to win both nominations fairly handily. This is expected for Cheri Beasley. Up until a few months ago, though, McCrory was the favorite in this race until Ted Budd started to campaign. Once he started to campaign, his polling has improved. He has a substantial lead over Pat McCrory now. So we do expect that the nominee in that race will be Ted Budd. On the Democratic side, of course, Cheri Beasley, former Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court. Not a great candidate for statewide office, if we're being honest. A bunch of reasons for that. Democrats actually can't run on election. One of their big national issues is elections. They won't be able to do that with Cheri Beasley because she arguably tried to steal an election in North Carolina. There were some interesting, and you can look at any North Carolina newspaper for this. There's some interesting post-election strategies of trying to dispute only Democratic ballots that were rejected by bipartisan election boards in order to overturn a margin that was about under 1,000 votes. They're not going to be able to run on election integrity. They're not going to be able to run on any issue other than economic stuff or on Beasley's own personality, which is fine. So we do it. We have this race at likely Republican. We expect whoever the Republican nominee is to win this race and probably win it by a relatively decent margin. The two interesting races, though, are primaries. There's actually a couple other interesting primaries we're watching. We're watching the new district around Raleigh, the Raleigh suburbs, see who the Republican nominee is there. We expect that seat to go to Republicans, even though it narrowly voted for Joe Biden. The first district has a competitive Republican and Democratic primary, although this is a Biden plus 7 or 8 seat. We expect this to be competitive, but it's not a top-tier Republican pickup opportunity just yet. This is a seat where if you see a national wave, though, this would be a good sign that there's one coming. The two interesting seats we're looking at are North Carolina 4 and North Carolina 11. So I'll start with the Democratic side, the 4th district. We've got 3 candidates in this race, and only 2 of them have a chance at winning. On the establishment's choice is Valerie Foushee, who's a state senator. She represents Chapel Hill and Chatham counties in the state senate. Chatham is part college affluent suburbs with a lot of postgrads, and then part really rural areas. And then Chapel Hill or Orange County is, of course, home to Chapel Hill and is one of the most Democratic counties in the state and in the South as a whole. She has been endorsed by Emily's List. She's been endorsed by Congressional Black Caucus. She's been endorsed by AIPAC. A bunch of various groups. The AIPAC endorsement is pretty big. They've been giving her a lot of money. In fact, most of her money as of late, which has given her a fundraising edge in this race. The Democratic side is Nita Alam, who is a county commissioner from Durham County. Oddly enough, we expect Foushee to do better in Durham County and Alam to do better in Orange County, even though they don't represent either county. The reason for this is that Alam is running a very progressive campaign. Her campaign is very much focused on economic issues, on Israel's a big issue that's come up, and I'll explain that just in a little bit, but she's been endorsed by Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, the Squad, Brand New Congress, Sunshine Movement. If there's a progressive group out there, they've endorsed her. She has come under fire from some members of the North Carolina community for 2 reasons. The first is the Black community in Durham. There's been a lot of, and there's been articles out there. There's a good article in, I believe it's the Assembly, the Assembly magazine, about the tension in Durham County between white, college-educated progressive voters who tend to live in more affluent areas around the university, and then urban Democratic, strongly Democratic Black voters who live in the less affluent portions of Durham County and generally feel or beginning to feel left out of the political situation. The big thing this goes back to is the county manager vote. There's 2 Black Democrats on the county commission. There's 5 commissioners, and the commission voted 3-2 to get rid of the Black county manager for being too conservative. That caused a lot of controversy locally in Durham County. The other issue, of course, Alam is one of the 3 to do that. She is Arab. She's a Muslim, the first Muslim to be elected to office in North Carolina. The other is controversies over Israel-Palestine, as it tends to happen with squad members in a lot of these races. This has been why AIPAC has been involved. Alam has apologized for a lot of these remarks and situations she's been in. She published an op-ed in, I believe, Indie Week magazine, which is a progressive outlet in Durham, apologizing to the local Jewish community for some remarks and for some rallies she had participated in. But it remains to be seen, how big of an issue this is with voters. The only polls that have been out, I believe, have come from Fushi-aligned groups. So those have shown Fushi, of course, with double-digit leads. It's worth noting, of course, that these are aligned with her. There's a third candidate in the race, Clay Aiken, who is not going to win, not going to come anywhere close to winning. The only reason we mention this is because he may grab around 10% of the vote, 5 to 10%. That could be enough to make a difference here. He's also running a progressive-leaning campaign, but has gotten basically no traction. He tried to run for office in the 2nd district in 2014, I believe, against Renee Elmers, and got utterly curb stomped. And then it came out that he participated. This is all for a documentary that he put out, and so that really soured a lot of state Democrats on his candidacy. So that's the Democratic side. The 4th district, we are expecting Fushi to probably win this race, but again, the limited polling, we really don't know what's going to go on. The big county, though, is we're going to watch for signs of polarized voting along racial lines in the Democratic primary. We would expect Fushi to do really, really well, not just in portions of Durham County, but also in some of these other not suburban counties, but rural counties around it that have a larger Black population. Granville, Person County, Chatham County. We do expect Alam to do very well in Chapel Hill, of course, the only county in the state to vote for Bernie Sanders in 2016. On the Republican side, the interesting one to watch is the 11th congressional district. Madison Cawthorn is facing a series of never-ending scandals. He is speedrunning the world record for most political scandals in a single term, it seems. And if he's doing so, he's doing very well. It's been actually a fairly slow week for Madison Cawthorn scandals. There's only been a few. So that's a relatively weak week.
Have there been any?
I think there's been 1 or 2. It may have been about the insider trading.
Oh.
That may have technically counted as this week. But he is facing criticism not just from establishment Republicans, obviously, but also from local Republicans in Henderson County and in Western North Carolina, who are really angry about office closures throughout the district, who were really angry that he decided to move to Charlotte to run in a different district and then decided to come back only after the district was rendered uncompetitive because of a court-ordered redraw. And then on top of that, you have all these scandals, which has basically resulted in many former backers leaving his campaign outright and going to challengers. The big challenger right now that seems to be supported by most Republicans who are statewide is Chuck Edwards, who's a state senator for the 48th district, which coincides with quite a bit of the 11th district. It's worth noting there's 8 candidates in the field. It's very possible that Cawthorn is dragged under 30% and nobody else gets 30%, which means it would go to a runoff. On the other hand, if anyone gets over 30% of the vote, that's enough to win. So what we're basically watching here is twofold. 1, is Cawthorn held under 30%? Or 2, does someone get over 30%? And is that person Cawthorn? It's worth noting former President Trump has urged voters to give Cawthorn a second chance. Although this really looks more like a 17th chance, if we're being honest here. Some of the stuff going on. Tom Tillis seems fairly confident about his odds. He was about the odds of defeating Cawthorn. He's been very vocal about getting rid of Cawthorn. And further, another note is we do expect large Republican turnout in North Carolina on Election Day. Right now, through early voting, it's 50-50. Democrats have a very slight lead in early voting in these primary votes. That's very bad. Democrats usually lead these by much larger margins, 8 to 18%. We expect the Election Day vote to swing overwhelmingly Republican. I've heard from some of my sources that there could be as many as 1 million total Republicans having voted in this primary election, which is quite a bit. So that's North Carolina. It's worth noting, I will mention that we're also not watching Kentucky too closely, but it's very possible that Kentucky is another state that sees Republicans outvote Democrats in a statewide primary election for the first time in a very long time, maybe ever.
No, it happened back in the 2015 gubernatorial primary, I think.
2015? Yeah. Well, we're keeping an eye on it regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on it regardless. It'd be a pretty interesting election there. But that's North Carolina. Those are the key ones to follow. We'll also keep you posted on the first district. I believe the 14th district the 13th district is the new competitive one as well, and the 6th, which has an open Republican race. Although these districts aren't extremely competitive as of right now.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting night to watch North Carolina as we track down now to about 19 minutes until polls close in North Carolina. How quickly do you expect results to come from North Carolina tonight, Eric?
North Carolina usually does a pretty good job of getting votes in. I'm not sure I can say how fast it will be. What I can say is that we do our votes correctly, which is that what should happen is that our early votes should be counted first, and then election day votes will come in afterwards. We have a pretty good election administration here. So yeah, you would think, Pennsylvania here could, learn a lesson from this. But basically the story of North Carolina elections is that Democrats have a huge early lead, and then election day votes come in and it balances out and Republicans usually win. This doesn't matter in a partisan primary, but it does matter, of course, if we're looking at some of these elections and we're looking at overall turnout, which could give a good indication how North Carolina will go in November. Again, we expect the Senate race to be likely Republican. That could even change going on further. I mean, this is not looking like a good race for Democrats right now, to be blunt.
Yeah, certainly some signs of trouble potentially there for Democrats in those early voting numbers. Obviously, of course, the other big state tonight is, of course, the state of Pennsylvania, which is my home state. I think it's almost been talked to death, of course, the two big races, Republican primaries, both governor and Senate. The Democratic primaries are basically nondescript now for those two statewide races. Josh Shapiro, the current attorney general, someone who's been long rumored to want the governor's position unopposed in that race in his primary. And then John Fetterman, the current lieutenant governor, who passed, of course, on a run for governor. He was never really interested in that. He was always interested in the Senate seat, has continually pulled away in polling, though there are recent concerns over his health. He recently suffered a stroke over the weekend, and he is having a pacemaker put in today. Which means he is okay, but he is having a pacemaker put in.
Yeah, I believe I read that it's in and he's been discharged. So
that's good. That's very good news.
That's very good news. Okay, but
yeah,
obviously that is a potentially late concern there for the Fetterman campaign. Issues with his health will be potentially maybe not an interesting storyline for the primary, but potentially an interesting storyline that comes up in the general election. The Republican side also, again, probably talked to death, but I'll start with the easier one, which is this governor's race. After a Trump endorsement late on Saturday morning, very early in Saturday morning, Doug Mastriano seems very likely to get to that 35 percentile mark that we've seen Republicans need to get to win in these highly divided primaries that we've seen. Looks like Mastriano, someone who is hugely controversial, but also definitely popular with certain with big sects of the base, but is also someone who is definitely controversial due to certain retweets that applauded himself for being potentially appointed as someone to deal with martial law in respect to the 2020 election. Someone who has continually pushed the fraud narrative of the 2020 elections. Rumors have already not gone well. The Pennsylvania Republican Party is already in massive turmoil. There are multiple calls for current Pennsylvania Republican Chairman Lawrence Tapas to resign, including from yours truly, who believes Lawrence Tapas should resign. Looks like Mastriano will be able to get to that number today. But the Senate race seems to be in much more chaos, even with the Trump endorsement for Dr. Mehmet Oz. Surprise endorsement, to be sure. But the endorsement that he has, from most of what I hear on the ground, it sounds like Oz is definitely favored going into the night. But it could be a surprise. We could see the momentum carrying from Kathy Barnett's surprising late surge potentially carry over her to victory if Oz definitely underperforms. Or it would be, again, the potential for a geographic split here is significantly bigger in the Senate race than in the governor's race, because the West does have a candidate from Allegheny County in Dave McCormick. A couple of people I've talked to say that they believe that McCormick will probably overperform late polling numbers that had him hovering around 21, 22%, but they don't think it'll be enough for him to win on the night. But that is something to watch out for. Those are kind of some of the big key races. It should be also mentioned that Pennsylvania for primaries picks the lieutenant governor candidate to run on the joint ticket in the general for the gubernatorial candidates separately. Democrats do potentially have a rough race tonight. Controversial state rep Brian Sims is running against Austin Davis, another progressive but much significantly less controversial state rep from the western part of the states. But Sims has come under fire before for some of his tactics. He actually became famous because he would usually accost anti-abortion protesters outside abortion clinics, and he would film him doing so. One of the first things that got Sims to relevancy. That is potentially a concern, but Pennsylvania Republicans are also concerned because of the status of Teddy Daniels. He is the endorsed candidate of Doug Mastriano and Kathy Barnett, but there are some concerns that Daniels has not done necessarily the best job of getting his voice out there, and that message has been pushed. A couple of people at the polls today, there was a good amount of people voting for Doug Mastriano, but it does not seem like the whole bunch of them were going for Teddy Daniels for lieutenant governor. Certainly an interesting storyline to watch there as well for the Republican Party. And then there is one key primary, technically two, but really there's one key primary to look at. That's the Democratic primary for the new 12th district, which is the renumbered Pittsburgh seat that now does take in some parts of Westmoreland, but it's mostly Pittsburgh and some southeast Allegheny suburbs. This is going to be definitely an ideological divided primary here. I'm going to let Dylan go into a little bit deeper, but we've got kind of more establishment candidate Steve Irwin, not the Australian one, the Pittsburgh Democratic.
The less interesting one.
Democratic one. Certainly less interesting one, who has the endorsement of retiring Representative Mike Doyle. He's going against State Representative Summer Lee, hardcore progressive, endorsed by every progressive group under the sun. Certainly people think she's probably the progressive with the best chance tonight against Irwin. Irwin's campaign has come under multiple controversies, one for signatures that turn out to be true, but also for potential fundage and potentially harmful comments on unions as well. Still a big deal in the Democratic primaries out in the Pittsburgh area. But that's probably the big House primary to talk about. There is one also in the 17th district that could be competitive in the race into the Republican primary to go for that seat, as well as the Democratic primary there. We're watching that race in the new 17th district. The seat that Connor Lamb is leaving to replace himself on to run for Senate, which, as we said earlier, has not gone very well for him. But it does seem like that we could have potentially some competitive primaries there, but certain people believe that kind of there are their front runners there, and there's not going to be much noise there. And then Republican primaries for the 7th and the 8th district have preferred candidates, and Lisa Scheller for the 7th and Jim Bonnier for the 8th, both recasts from the 2020 election. But I am going to pass it because we haven't let Dylan speak really that much yet. Dylan, I'll let you speak here. I know you've been focusing a lot on that 12th district in Pennsylvania. Give us the rundown.
So that race between Summer Lee and Steve Irwin has, I think, been a source of frustration for progressives. Summer Lee is a candidate who was seen as really credible. I mean, she's a state rep who ousted a longtime incumbent, very progressive. She seemed like a shoo-in for the seat, and she was for a long time. She got a lot of endorsements from progressive groups, local endorsements. The mayor of Pittsburgh, Ed Gainey, has been aggressively supporting her. And she was fundraising well. Steve Irwin has gotten a lot of the establishment endorsements you would expect. But really, I think it's fair to say the only endorsement worth talking about is the AIPAC endorsement. Say what you will about whether outside groups should be allowed to spend this much, but they have spent a lot. I think close to $2 million or over $2 million on boosting Steve Irwin, specifically launching attacks at Summer Lee for not being sufficiently loyal to the Democratic Party, which I think is an odd choice, but moving on. Also on her stances on Israel, which, as Eric mentioned, that's a controversial stance for most progressives at this point. AIPAC has spent a lot of money in this primary cycle. They spent, I want to say, $10 million on the Nina Turner-Chantel Brown race, probably less, but close.
They spent a lot of money.
They spent a ridiculous amount of money. Even on the rematch, which nobody thought Nina Turner was going to win, they spent a ridiculous amount of money burying her. They've spent millions of dollars boosting Fushi, and now they've spent over $2 million on Summer Lee. Summer Lee had a significant polling lead as of a few weeks ago, but as of a new new Steve Irwin internal, she is down by 1 point, according to that.
Mhm.
Now, it's a Steve Irwin internal, so take that with a grain of salt, but the Summer Lee camp has to be feeling a bit of that sweat too, because they brought in Bernie Sanders, Ed Gainey, AOC to do a rally for her just last week. I don't know what I expect here. That it can't be overstated how much that $2 million boosted Irwin. And it's not the same as the Nina Turner race, where Nina Turner basically let those challenges go unanswered. She didn't spend on TV all that much, from what I can recall. Summer Lee has. She spent a significant amount on TV and radio. So not as much, but a lot. I think about $1.8 million. So it's anybody's guess. I'm obviously rooting for Summer Lee, and I think she's favored, but I don't feel as confident about that as I did even on the last Elections Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be that's certainly going to be one of the key primaries outside of the statewide races that we're watching tonight in Pennsylvania. But otherwise, we are getting ever closer now to poll closings in North Carolina. We are officially 8 minutes away from poll closings in North Carolina. Of course, key races to watch there, multiple key House primaries to watch there. One of the big storylines, of course, is will Madison Cawthorn fall to the large Oppo dump that happened on him in the last month and a half. It was a big deal. A lot of stuff came out, from the corrupt to the weird to the very weirdly sexual. It'll be very interesting to see I think what goes on in that race tonight. Eric, you already mentioned up the Cawthorn Edwards race a little bit. Tell me, have you heard anything that says Cawthorn is really in trouble tonight, or do you think he can squeak by tonight with a victory?
What I've mostly heard again is the public stuff from Tom Tillis, who seems very, very confident. The energy on the ground, from what I can tell, is that local party organizers are very much hoping that Cawthorn loses. A lot of organic word of mouth has been negative. Former backers who were instrumental in getting him across the line in that 2020 primary have shifted their allegiance and have abandoned him. So that would be more or less what I would expect in that race. I think it's a kind of a pure toss-up. I'll believe it when I see it, but it seems pretty likely that it's going to at least be competitive, from what I can tell. The more interesting ones, I'm only going to say this real quick because there was a comment about it. The strongest Republican candidate in NC1 and NC13. Real quick, in 13, it would probably, for me, be Kelly Daughtry. It's probably going to be Renee Elmers or Bo Hines, neither of which are great candidates, but also it's a very competitive district in the Republican year. The Democratic field isn't extraordinarily impressive either. And on top of that, it's going to be a 2-year rental. The district's going to be changed in 2024, assuming Republicans win back the Supreme Court. So in that one, anyone but Bo Hines probably would be something Republicans would be perfectly fine with seeing. In the first, probably what Republicans want, Sandy Robertson, who's the former mayor of Rocky Mount. Sandy Smith is not only controversial, she's also had some scandals as of late. And the Republicans are very much hoping that Sandy Robertson is the nominee in that, not Sandy Smith.
Yeah. As far as the Madison Cawthorn election, I might be more bullish on Cawthorn than anyone here. He is still an incumbent. He has not been outspent, which I think is usually the big factor. And he only has to clear 30%. If an incumbent can't clear 30%, he's really messed up. And then if an incumbent can't clear 30% while spending the most money, then there's no hope for them.
And
So
to be clear, he's spending all of his money. Like
yes,
he is
all of it.
all of his money is being spent.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, of course, I would say the political article, of course, that came out in the middle of last week, that certainly seems to have done more damage as well. I mean, to go back to Eric's point about the local kind of backers kind of moving away from him, there was a lot of comments from people who backed him in 2020 who kind of like the different message he was giving, who have just been clearly underimpressed by his run as
To put it lightly.
Yeah, to put it lightly, unimpressed with his run as a congressional candidate. It's definitely. Some people even said it. Cawthorn's kind of issues might make it actually harder for young conservative candidates to run in the future, potentially for federal positions. There's some concern among some of the young Republican groups for that. Is that Cawthorn's kind of issues may bleed over into not being able to support young Republicans for other issues there. But really, it's going to be really fascinating, I think, to see whether or not Cawthorn gets beaten tonight. If he does get beaten, that is that just kind of a sign of that there is a line in the sand again for certain candidates on certain issues that that you just can't go out and say anything anymore again.
I'm not sure how much of it though would be those comments versus the organic district stuff who are just genuinely angry. The district swap, that was just a horrendously bad move in hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with what he said. Because what he said that got him in trouble with the establishment was the coke orgies comment.
Yeah, cocaine. To be clear, it's cocaine sex orgies.
Cocaine sex orgies. So I wasn't sure how much we're allowed to say on YouTube. So
they can demonetize us all we want.
Yes, the cocaine sex orgies. That comment, I'm sorry, guys, is the most true thing Madison Cawthorn has ever said. And it gets truer every time I hear it. I think the problem for Cawthorn is that, look, people don't like hearing so much about their representative. And we've heard a lot about Madison Cawthorn. I think the lesson here is if you're gonna have scandals, be like Tom Malinowski. Have quiet scandals. Be that guy who every couple of weeks there's a new insider trading thing, but nobody cares because it's a banal scandal. I mean, Cawthorn's scandals have been nothing if not headline grabbing. But again, I don't see a scenario where he doesn't hit 30%. Maybe somebody else hits 30% too, but I don't see a scenario where he doesn't.
Yeah, and to be clear, Chuck Edwards is far and away the most prominent Republican running in this field. I mean, Michelle Woodhouse is probably going to get some votes. She's the local district chair of the 11th District Republicans, but I would expect Chuck Edwards to get the brunt of the vote, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, no, I agree. And since I'm not sure when we're going to have a chance to talk about it, since the polls are going to close after we go to bed, after we stop here, do we want to talk about Oregon since we have a few minutes?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we. I should say, folks, we do plan on ending tonight at 11 o'clock because that'll be almost 4 hours. After we started here, and we're all East Coast gentlemen, so we'll want to either go do stuff or potentially get to bed. I've had a long day. I've been up since around 5:30 this morning for polling and purposes like that. So it's been a long day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Oregon, we don't expect, mainly because one, polls don't close until around 11 o'clock there, and two, they take a while most of the time. So Oregon, it does have some interesting races, but the big one that's kind of come on tonight, it has been the primary between Kurt Schrader and a progressive challenger. Dylan, again, I think another one that we're going to want to throw to you here.
Yeah, so this has been a really interesting race. So I've talked a lot about how outside spending is kind of the be-all, end-all, but this race might be the exception. Kurt Schrader is running against, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her name. Jamie...
it's Mallory Skinner, potentially, is the last name.
Yeah,
I'm checking it for you here right now, but...
So... Yeah, I think Mallory Skinner is right. and that race has been interesting for a couple of
McLeod
weeks.
Skinner, Jamie McLeod Skinner. I was close.
McLeod.
I'm proud.
You-
I'm actually proud of myself for how close I will. But I am going to interrupt you for a quick second, Dylan, because, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and polls have just closed in the state of North Carolina. The Tar Heel State now has seen their polls close across the state of North Carolina. Key races to watch tonight: Republican primary for Senate. We expect Ted Budd is likely to win that primary tonight. But we also have some key House primaries tonight. Key races for North Carolina 13, North Carolina 4, as well as North Carolina 11. Will Madison Cawthorn potentially lose his race to State Senator Chuck Edwards in a potentially interesting Republican primary tonight? Will Cawthorn's controversies catch up to him? It's a big night tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here on election night. We are officially also 30 minutes out from polls closing across Pennsylvania. It is a big night, folks. We are almost here, but polls have officially closed in North Carolina. We are now preparing imminently for first results out of the Tar Heel State. So we're going to get back here, though. We're going to take a quick sidetrack back to Dylan here. Please continue talking about the Oregon 5th race and kind of the dynamics that we've seen kind of start to develop there.
Sure. So that race is really interesting, mainly because Kurt Schrader seems to have this natural ability to upset everybody. He, while being an incumbent, his opponent, McLeod Skinner, has been endorsed by both county Democratic parties in his district. A lot of the elected officials are going for her because Schrader is notoriously hard to work with. There are a lot of issues surrounding his campaign. There are some comments around the second Trump impeachment that got him in a lot of hot water, needless hot water, considering he ended up voting for the impeachment.
That's very true.
And look, I expect, I'm sorry, before I say what I expect, there have been articles that have talked to insiders on the Schrader campaign who say he's losing the race in internals. That's not a good place to be.
That's generally bad.
It's generally bad to lose. Even worse to be losing in your own internals. But I think we have the first results, so I'll stop for a second.
So, yeah, we have the first results pouring in on the North Carolina State Board of Elections. Really quick, we've already got, according to the website, it looks like, well over 370,000 votes already in. I'm assuming DDHU will update very quickly.
Wow.
On the Republican side, the Senate primary, Pat McCrory is being annihilated by Ted Budd. Right now, Budd has 57% to 28% for McCrory. McCrory is ahead in exactly one county, and you could probably guess what county he is ahead in. Mecklenburg County, he's ahead by 5%. He's also doing relatively well compared to his national vote in Union County, or not national vote, compared to a statewide vote. This is according to the State Board of Elections website. For the first district, which you mentioned, Sandy Smith currently up 5% over Sandy Robertson on the Republican side. In the 11th district, right now, Madison Cawthorn is at 34% from the early vote. Chuck Edwards is at 29.8%. Matthew Burrell at 10%. Michelle Woodhouse is well behind, but basically he's at that threshold. He's at 34.3%. This is the early vote. This is the vote that is the most favorable possibly for Madison Cawthorn because a lot of this vote came in before some of the most recent scandals. This looks like a competitive race, folks. This looks like a very competitive race.
So are you saying that Madison Cawthorn does have a chance to be defeated tonight? Is it?
Yes.
Do you think it's possible by these early results?
Yes, I think it's very possible. On the fourth district right now, early vote, that right now Valerie Foushee is at 50% and Nita Alam is at 35%.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what's Foushee at? I'm sorry, the website hasn't updated it.
This is according to the State Board of Elections. I'm looking at the actual State Board of Elections in North Carolina. 50% for Valerie Foushee, 35% for Nita Alam in the fourth district.
That's not horrendous for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because the early vote tends to favor the more establishment candidate in these races. So Nita Alam being down that much, not great, but not horrendous.
Yeah.
I'm
Bo Hines is up by 13 in the 13th district.
Oh dear.
Yep. Again, although for what it's worth, actually, this is reversing expectations. Fushi is actually ahead by 24 in Orange County, only up by 3 in Durham, which is interesting.
So going back to Cawthorn for a second, I'm skeptical that the early vote necessarily favors him. As we saw in Ohio and West Virginia, the more conservative candidates tend to do better in the election day votes. And I think it's safe to say Cawthorn is running the more quote unquote conservative campaign.
I think it depends. It also depends on where the votes are coming from. I need to look at Nebraska particularly, but for example, you had a scandal incumbent there, and I don't think Herbster's campaign was specifically benefiting from election day votes compared to early votes.
Oh, Herbster's campaign was definitely benefiting,
but most of it was going to Pillen.
Fair, but Herbster climbed from a distant third to 3 points behind between the mail-in votes and the election day votes. So, yeah, he didn't win, but I would say he definitely improved. I do think it's competitive. Do we have any out of the first district? I am kind of curious about the Don Davis.
Can you check the Democratic?
Yeah, Don Davis is up by 41 over
Ooh.
Erica Smith. Yeah.
That's more what I expect from mail-in votes.
Yeah, Erica Smith is ahead in Northampton, Terrell, and Pasquotank, but is losing everywhere else, including places like Pitt, which would be more of the college vote. So yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
Erica Smith was always interesting.
I think that's a nice way to put it.
I was trying to be as kind as possible.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Clay Aiken's only polling 6%, which is, again, why we didn't really cover Clay Aiken much. His campaign is a joke, just like it was a couple of years ago when he ran. Link to the North Carolina Board of Elections. Here you go. Normally, we'll go straight off of DDHQ, but literally the North Carolina Election Board is excellent. They're fantastic at posting election results in a timely manner.
New
highly
York,
recommend.
learn. Please, New York.
You can do this. You can actually post election results competently and quickly. This is all of the early votes.
Could you maybe share your screen with us on that, actually, please?
Yeah, sure. Let me pull this up right here.
That would help, I think, a lot of our viewers tonight if you could show that on the screen, because we haven't seen that yet from two of the main sources tonight. Of course, our overlords at Decision Desk HQ and the New York Times do not have those numbers up yet.
Yep, here we go. So I'll show you, again, the Ted Budd primary right now.
Wow.
Not all counties are in. Ted Budd, again, doing well everywhere except for Mecklenburg County. Not surprising. Given that's Pat McCrory's stomping ground.
Wait, is Pat McCrory winning that? Because that looks like...
Yes, he's
that is the hometown of Charlotte, the hometown bonus.
Okay, that looked like somebody else's color. Can we get different color schemes, y'all?
Yeah, no, it's awful. Their color schemes are bad.
That looks like an Eastman win.
It does look like Eastman.
Yeah, Eastman, not really a factor in the race. Let's look at the Sandy Smith, Sandy Robertson one. Nothing in from Edgecombe yet. Interesting that Sandy Smith is ahead there. But yeah, look at some of these around here. A lot of votes from Brent Robinson, oddly enough. Let's go ahead and go to the 4th district. Again, that's one we're really looking at here. All votes, there are votes in from every county except for Granville so far. In Durham, let's go ahead and pull up results by, usually they'll have precinct results later on. Let me see if I can grab it. Oh, no, actually, they're not going to have precinct results because they're not sorted.
But
yeah.
Hold on, I'm sorry. We have an update from North Carolina 11.
Ooh. What's the update?
Chuck Edwards leads 38-27.
Wow.
With the early vote from Asherville.
Oh, Bunko. Though that's awful. Yeah, I mentioned. Yeah. Oh, he's leading by 25 in Henderson. He's doing really well. Yeah.
Wow.
This is
ladies and gentlemen.
Crow tonight.
Eric, if you could take down your screen here, I'm gonna take it to Decision Desk here now because they have the same results. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is big. We could have our first upset of the night. We are seeing it right now. Madison Cawthorn, down to Chuck Edwards, 38-27 right now, with an estimated about 55% of the vote in right now. Of course, this is the early vote. It's very possible. We've seen it happen before. We've seen the more conservative candidates do significantly better on election day than the early vote. But certainly right now, not a great sign for Madison Cawthorn out in the 11th district. He is getting hammered in Buncombe and Henderson County. I can show it to you right now. There are the results in Buncombe County, and there are the results then in Henderson County.
Yeah. So for context here as to what's going on, what possibly could be going
Eric,
on.
I am going to have to take you a quick pause here because we do have something back here. We do have an official projection now from Decision Desk HQ, no surprise. But Cheri Beasley, the former Democratic member of the North Carolina Supreme Court, has won the Democratic primary race for Senate. That is confirmed here by Decision Desk HQ. We are making that call. Cheri Beasley, the Democratic primary winner for Senate in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I would expect the call for Ted Budd will be coming in fairly soon as well. What I will mention here real quick is so Western North Carolina is home to some of the most unaffiliated voters in the state. What do I mean by that? Unaffiliated voters in North Carolina can vote for either party primary. I actually apparently accidentally unregistered was registered as an unaffiliated voter and was able to choose between Republican or Democratic primary when I went to vote on Friday, early vote. Basically what that means is that voters in Buncombe, Henderson County, these counties have actually plurality unaffiliated voters. There could be a lot of voters who ordinarily vote in Democratic primaries voting in the Republican one. That's just a potential here. I need to actually look at the numbers to give an idea, but that's entirely a possibility. There's also just a lot of them in general. This is a compelling race. I mean, but the fact is this is the brunt of the population in the district is going to come from Henderson County, Buncombe. I mean, this is the entire Asheville area, basically. I mean, he's doing pretty good in Rutherford. He's doing pretty good in McDowell County, but even these ones, I mean, this is really, really bad margins. This is, and just looking at absentee one stop was for Edwards. So Edwards is leading the absentee one stop voting in the district and also leading the absentee by mail. So basically mail voting and one stop going to the election poll and voting physically in person. That is what he's leading right now. Election day is still yet to come in, but that's a 12-point lead. That is really bad for Cawthorn, to put it lightly.
Yeah, that's a rough margin to try to overcome. Looks like I'm going to be eating a lot of crow tonight.
Possibly. Again, we don't want to say anything too early, but that's pretty big. That is pretty big.
That is certainly a harsh mission, but I should be said here, I think Dylan will like this especially. Don Davis, huge lead currently over Erica Smith with the early vote in there in that Democratic primary. Big. That's certainly a sigh of relief, I'd say, for Democrats who wanted Davis certainly there as the nominee. There was a lot of concern that with Erica Smith, that could be a race where Democrats could theoretically blow it. Smith was kind of seen as someone who was potentially someone who could potentially sink that race from that's only about a Biden +6 seat. But I'm sure for Democrats, that's certainly, I think, a good sign for them tonight in a competitive seat. Looks like Don Davis is going to take down Erica Smith in that seat.
See, my objection to Erica Smith is she's a conservative. I don't have any objections to a progressive beating Don Davis. I would love a progressive to beat Don Davis. Don Davis is not pro-life, but he hasn't been the most liberal on abortion issues. I just don't think Erica Smith is all that progressive.
Well, keep in mind, she did endorse. She got in trouble for endorsing a Republican in running against, I believe, Jeff Jackson, of all people.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I think
so. We still are waiting for election day results to start to come in, of course, in North Carolina, but we have gotten the early and mail-in votes. It seems to have definitely had a good portion of the votes in for sure in North Carolina, maybe a bigger share than we were expecting, but certainly a decent share of the vote is in North Carolina. But I should mention, folks, we are now only about 15 minutes away from poll closings in maybe the most controversial state of the night in Pennsylvania. We are only 30 minutes away, 15, excuse me, only 15 minutes away from poll closings there. So we will have a big announcement for that. But, we're going to be looking at other states, of course, tonight, too. And we are looking at, of course, a key state where it looks like a Trump endorsement might fail tonight, and that is Idaho. All polling has shown that Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeachin, who is trying to primary current Governor Brad Little, behind in polling, McGeachin does have the Trump endorsement, but it hasn't been necessarily the brightest of races for McGeachin. She's had a lot of criticism for her campaign. We're going to kind of look at it here. I'm going to pass it over to Eric here, kind of the comment on some of these races. What do you think has kind of made McGeachin, not necessarily very approachable? Like we've seen a lot of other candidates like her too.
She's running a genuinely abysmal campaign. To put it bluntly, she is doing a really terrible job of just appealing to voters. She's had really flighty interviews with media. It's just never gone off the ground. She had only become notable to begin with because when Brad Little left the state for like literally a few days, she signed a bunch of executive orders doing a bunch of crazy things. And then when he came back, he was like, "No, you can't do that." I
remember that was certainly a day.
Yeah, that was a day.
Such a fun day.
It was like a bunch of COVID stuff. I believe there was some other kind of crazy things. The other thing is she went to America First Political Action Conference, which is a white nationalist conference hosted by white nationalist edgelord. And that also kind of negatively impacted her campaign. Another thing, it's Idaho. The race we're watching, there's actually the attorney general race where Raul Labrador could actually have a decent chance of flipping that.
Is his name actually Labrador?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's one of those Republicans who was elected in the wave. He beat, I believe, Walt Minnick, who was the Democrat at the time, the only Democrat who was endorsed by the Tea Party Express, I believe, at the time, and he declined that endorsement. One of those districts that the Democrat is never going to flip again. So he left Congress because he was sick of basically losing on everything. And so now he's back to be Attorney General apparently. That's an interesting one. So yeah, I think honestly, McGeachin was just a horrendous endorsement. She's run a terrible campaign. That's really all it boils down to.
I mean, she's also a crazy person. I guess that doesn't prevent you from winning. Hello, Doug.
Yeah, don't remind me. We're pulling for the Yinzers tonight. We have to pull for the Yinzers. The Yinzers need to be smart.
Joe,
we gotta pull for the Yinzers.
Joe, I'm gonna be suffering tonight, so I'd like to have somebody to commiserate with, if not for the
misery loves company, baby. Misery loves company.
It looks like you're not going to get your way in the 4th district.
I wasn't expecting to. I mean, I'm putting all my eggs in the PA 12 basket.
Yeah,
there you go.
But yeah, and just for perspective again on Fushi, basically the rural counties, Person, Caswell, Alamance, she's losing those. She's only pulling 11% of the vote in Alamance, which is pretty horrendous. Clay Aiken is actually pulling far more than her in Person. Clay Aiken is in 2nd in Person County. Nita Lum is in 4th. And then in Chapel Hill, Orange County, she's losing by 24%.
I'm sorry.
And then in Durham, she's losing by 3%, which Durham is about half the district. And then, like expected, Chapel Hill is going to outvote the rest of these rural counties, and then Alamance, which is a Republican-leaning suburban county.
Yeah, I mean, I do expect the election.
Oh, is there a big announcement?
We have a big announcement?
Let me see.
Thomas says big announcement.
Oh.
Yes, we do. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a expected, but certainly a big announcement right here. As expected again tonight, Ted Budd, the congressman, surprise Trump endorsement, someone who looked like he was struggling early on to take advantage of it, but in the last month got it together and ran away with the race. As projected by DDHQ, Ted Budd will be the Republican nominee for Senate in North Carolina. And that, of course, does set up a massive race now in North Carolina between Cheri Beasley and Ted Budd for the open Senate race that is being succeeded by Richard Burr, who is retiring this year. So, Eric, you have your candidates for the Senate race. What do you think is going to happen?
Again, I would have preferred McCrory. I think McCrory has a lot of experience in government and more experience as a pragmatic official that will be able to work on a lot of specific issues along behind the scenes. So I did vote for McCrory. But Bud will be fine as a nominee. The problem with Bud and the benefit of Bud is that he's generic R. He's only held office for a couple terms. He's a backbencher member of the Freedom Caucus. He's never done particularly anything offensive or notable. So, all things considered, not a bad pick. Again, I would have preferred McCrory. But there's clearly a lot of animosity still about 2016, which was really, again, on the idiots who passed the bathroom bill rather than McCrory was kind of backseated into signing the thing. The reason he lost is because of those idiots in the legislature. He didn't lose because of his own efforts, really. But again, McCrory's probably going to go back to his radio show, have a big audience. It'll be fine. There's not any animosity here, I don't think, towards McCrory, but I do think the Trump endorsement was pretty pivotal once Bud started actually campaigning, at least.
Yeah, so we have a set race for a senator, North Carolina, between Ted Budd and Cheri Beasley. We currently rate that race as likely Republican due to the environment right now and the current strength, it seems, for Republicans in North Carolina. North Carolina is one of those states, folks, where we definitely expect Republicans to potentially do massively better in than they did in 2020. It is a Trump times 2 state. It went for Trump in 2016 and 2020. Those are the type of states that's going to be. We feel like it's going to be hard for Democrats, to really have a great shot in. Beasley's certainly not a bad candidate, but I think, like Eric said earlier, she's certainly not a great candidate either.
Yeah. She's a C minus candidate. Republicans have a C plus candidate. And it's going to be if it's going to be an R plus 7 or 8 year, it's going to be really bad in North Carolina. That's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, certainly a rough night there for Democrats awaiting in North Carolina. But right now we do have a Senate race. We currently rate it here on Elections Daily as likely Republican between Ted Budd and Cheri Beasley. Eric, you've got something. Go right ahead.
Yep. Additional from the 13th district. This is what we're going to keep an eye on. Bo Hines is leading right now. He has 31.8% of the vote. The threshold for runoff is 30%. The big thing, though, is he is below 30% in Johnston County, where the brunt of Republican voters in the 13th district live. It's the largest county in the district. It's the largest portion, the one where the most Republican voters are going to come from. Right now, his closest competitor is Devan Barber. So I know a lot of Johnston County Republicans are really unhappy with Hines, who has notably run in at least 4 or 5 different congressional districts in the last year. A lot of them, in particular in Johnston County, were very unhappy with this.
In the last year?
Yeah, the last year.
He switched races a couple of times.
Yeah, more than a couple, 4 or 5. I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah, he was going to run originally in Charlotte, and then he decided to run in Greensboro, Winston-Salem area. Then he decided to run around Raleigh. Then he decided to run back in Greensboro, and now he's running in Raleigh again. So, I mean, again, this is really important. This is worth noting. We really want to keep an eye on these Johnston County ones. It's worth noting, of course, Renee Elmers is in 4th place, right? Or sorry, Renee Elmers is in 5th place.
Hooray!
Renee Elmers holds the distinction.
Why is Renee Elmers doing so poorly?
She finished 3rd. She finished in 3rd place in a 3-way primary. Let me go back to exactly what the year was. Specifically, Renee Elmers got in trouble for, along with a couple other Republicans, tanking a piece of pro-life legislation. Basically, it was she voted against advocated against not voting on the Pain-Capable Unborn Children Protection Act, but that would have banned abortions after 20 weeks. She got in trouble for that, along with a bunch of other Republicans, but she was the one who took the most brunt of it.
Gotcha.
And in 2016, she just got utterly demolished. I mean, she finished in that race as an incumbent. Granted, it was moving a district, but against George Holding, she finished in only barely ahead of Greg Brannon, who was a fringe 9/11 conspiracy theorist. Holding got 53%. Renee Elmers got 24%, and then Brannon got 23%. So
wow, a fringe 9/11 guy got 23%.
He ran as a libertarian. The fringe 9/11 stuff wasn't the big part of his campaign, but he basically was your Ron Paul libertarian candidate.
I don't think that makes it better.
Yeah, it doesn't make it better. But yeah, like to put it simply, I would have voted against Greg Brannon if he was the nominee in 2014 when he was one of the candidates that could have gone up against Kay Hagan. I really did not like Kay Hagan as a senator. That's how much I dislike Greg Brandon as a candidate. And thankfully, he's kind of gone away. Ooh, actually, another interesting one in the 7th district. This is worth following, not because the district is competitive. It's not, but because Charles Graham is running in it. He is currently in 2nd place in that. He is winning in a very large margin in Robeson County, but is losing in all the other counties so far. This again is another race that could go to a runoff. This is around that 30% threshold. The 30% threshold. That's the margin you need to get to avoid a runoff. And with some additional votes in from the 11th district, now about 56% in, Edwards still holds a 10.6 point lead over Cawthorn. It does look like whoever wins that race will have over 30% of the vote. That is the pivotal mark in North Carolina, is get to 30%, you avoid that runoff. Whichever person gets the most votes at that point. Most of the time we don't go to runoffs in North Carolina. It's pretty uncommon to see a major race go to runoff for that reason.
I mean, that's a low threshold.
It's a very low
you guys
threshold.
should
It's a
up that
very
a
low
little bit.
threshold.
If I could change, I would change it to 35. I think 35 would be a little more reasonable than 30. Because that could allow for, if there's a 3-way race and it's like 33, 33, 33, that would mean someone would go to a runoff. But I think 30 is a reasonable threshold. It's better than just having a runoff for everything.
I would certainly agree with that. That's for sure. But folks, we are less than 5 minutes until polls close in another key race, another key state tonight, Pennsylvania. We are 5 minutes away from Pennsylvania.
Are you ready, Joe?
Closing. I am not ready. God, no. You think I'm ready? You think the sleep anxiety was killing me this week, But we are less than 5 minutes from polls closing in Pennsylvania. Boy, oh boy, am I nervous. Even though I feel like I know what's going to happen, I'm still nervous. And that's the great thing about being involved in this stuff is that, then you get nervous because you get connected to people and then you like those people and you get scared. See, this is why Eric's a smart one of the group, because he just talks about the election. He doesn't actually get involved in them. This is why he's a smart one. Me and Dylan get passionately involved in some of these things, and that hurts us. Eric is a smart one.
I don't get physically involved, but I get emotionally involved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that Eric just looks at the numbers. That's what makes him the smart one of the panel. Me and you, we get emotionally attached to races, and that's bad. See, don't be like me and Dylan, folks. That's that will lead to negative outcomes.
And don't be like Joe and I if you're a Democrat, because you'll just be disappointed.
Yeah, it's never going to end well.
No.
But as we are still going through Election Day results coming in North Carolina, as well as we are now 3 minutes out from polls closing in Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to really have this night kicked off. I'm very excited to be with you here tonight. Yeah. So I guess kind of the comment here. Have we seen anything else come in here, Eric?
Just as a couple of other close races that are competitive or potentially competitive House districts. The 6th district Republican primary, Christian Castelli is leading with about 36% of the vote. Does not look like that race will go to a runoff. This is a Biden plus 13-ish district. It's on the fringe of competitiveness. If there's poor black turnout in Greensboro, you could see in particular this seat go a little more Republican than usual, but it's worth noting Republicans have not won Greensboro in a statewide race since 2010, when Richard Burr won both won Guilford and Forsyth counties in his reelection bid over Elaine Marshall. So this is one that I think we have this at likely. We either have this likely or safe Democratic. In the 14th district, the leading Republican candidate is Pat Harrigan, 75% of the vote. This is the Charlotte district, the one that surgically targets black voters and Hispanic voters, and then pumps them in with a bunch of voters from Gaston County to create about a Biden plus 18 district. It's a horrible district design that I really, really, really hate, if you can't already tell. The only reason I'm mentioning this is that right now with 30, Republicans are pretty close to outvoting Democrats in this district on a primary vote level. And we need to see all the votes come in. There's 58% of the Democratic side. They got 17,000 votes. There's 51% on the Republican side. They got 13,000 votes. This is a seat Biden won by 20 points. You should not be having a neutral or even primary result here. That should be pretty obvious. And in the 1st district, Sandy Smith leading with about 35% of the vote over Sandy Robertson. Someone had asked earlier what Sandy Smith's controversies were. There were some specific court documents that had been unsealed, public records about domestic abuse allegations, business expenses, the typical sort of stuff you would get from a politician. Although it's worth noting, that's basically what this would be. Sandy Roberts would be the more credible candidates for Republicans in this race. Although obviously they would have preferred to go up against Erica Smith instead of Dawn Davis.
That is certainly correct for sure.
By
folks,
the way, just a correction. Apparently, Dawn Davis is actually pro-life. My mistake. My mistake. I thought he was just kind of pro-life. No, he's actually anti-abortion. Sorry.
So, folks, it is 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Polls have closed in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
I hear the bell ringing. That's Joe Szymanski's sanity about to disappear.
Hey! You're telling me that I might, it's not going to be a good night, I don't think, for me here, folks. You're gonna get to see some real descent into craziness. So keep tuning in because you're gonna see some stuff probably that you'll never see again. And then this is almost certainly a video that I will ask to be taken down when I inevitably run for office in the future. It's almost certainly
nuts?
A video that
Joe is going to get nuts.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Feels great. Polls have closed in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Here we bleeping go. And yeah, we're going to wait for results there. We're going to see where they come in from and whether or not I need to hit the bin early. So otherwise, we're going to keep looking here in North Carolina, but still, again, polls have closed in the state of Pennsylvania. We have seen polls close in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm switching between Commonwealth and state. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We don't really care about that.
That's more of a Virginia thing.
Yeah, that's more of a Virginia thing, but polls have closed in Pennsylvania. We are getting ready here for hopefully the first results here soon from Pennsylvania. Hopefully soon the first results from the state of Pennsylvania.
Now, in your opinion, Joe, or in your experience, how quick will Pennsylvania be to put out some results, and how will these results come out? Is it going to be clean and organized like the great state of North Carolina, where we put our election results, our early votes all out at once, the start of the night, the early votes come, or the election day votes come in? It's incredible. Or is it going to be some sort of cluster of really bad election management?
I would direct you to 2020.
Eric, Pennsylvania is what we call stupid. And we do a really terrible job because we, in a massive panic because of coronavirus, passed this thing called Act 77. And while Act 77 certainly has some decent qualities to it, it was a mess of a bill that was basically quick-fired passed to make sure there were eligible voting measures because of COVID-19. And with no really thoughts or considering about that. So because of this, Pennsylvania has a really messy reporting system where counties will sometimes not report mail-in ballots until later in the day instead of at the beginning like they should be, which makes things make sense. But that also means that makes things harder. And sometimes because of issues with mail-in votes, that means states will just ignore the mail-in votes and just put together for the election day votes on and on very early, which causes massive confusion, especially sometimes in Democratic primaries where they vote by mail more. But it should be a thing here, though. Importantly, I should mention, this is something that's tripped up people on Twitter and just in general a couple times. We'll probably see results from the eastern part of the state first. That includes places like Philadelphia, the collar counties there, northeast Pennsylvania. We'll probably see most of the results, big results, come from there first. This has caused confusion in 2021 in regards to some of the judicial elections and the ballot measures in the spring and the judicial elections in the fall. This caused some confusion because we saw big results out of Philadelphia for or against certain ballot measures or for certain judicial candidates that ended up not being true because of how the vote went in the rest of the state. So, it's quite possible because of all of his endorsements, we might see Conor Lamb do significantly better in some of the beginning parts of the vote and then start to get wiped off the map by John Fetterman potentially as we continue to go down the state. So that's what we've seen in the last couple elections. I don't know if that'll hold up tonight, but mostly we usually see some results in Philadelphia first, and then we kind of go on to the rest of the state. So that's kind of the key there for Pennsylvania is, don't put your hope and faith into number one, early votes being the first votes we're seeing, and then don't put your faith in the fact that we'll see votes in a relatively quickly fashion like we've seen in Oklahoma. Not Oklahoma, in North Carolina. Don't know why I said Oklahoma. It's because I am nervous tonight, folks.
One thing I wanted to mention here, which someone pointed out that I follow, is that right now, Robeson County, which is a pretty important county in North Carolina, it's one of those rural counties that shifted heavily to Republicans in recent years. Sherry Beasley is only at 66.9% in the county. That's a massive undervote because there's a bunch of conservative Democrats that are still voting in the primary. It's equally bad in Scotland County, another Obama-Trump county, only 65% of the vote for Beasley. Oh, we got results.
Out of Allegheny, vote by mail. Fetterman, 44,000 votes. Connor Lamb, 30,000 votes.
Oh,
Kenyatta, 1,000 votes.
that's not
awful.
surprising. Is that on Decision Desk, Dylan?
No, I just saw that
Okay.
on Twitter. Oh, Joe, you'll be happy.
Honestly, I forgot Fetterman was still in the race.
Results from Allegheny for the Republicans: McCormick 5,000 votes, Oz 2,700, Barnett 1897.
Hooray! Woo! Inzers! Woo! Hooray for the Inzers!
Yeah, that's a
Go
2-1
Western
margin
Pennsylvania
in
folks.
probably
Go!
his best
Vote
county.
for the hometown man.
That's probably his best county. That's not a bad margin. That's a 2-1 margin.
Oh, Western Pennsylvania man, go! Oh, this is how you can tell it's early vote. I'm seeing that Melissa Hart leads as you can see the bastardization of Quakers in Pennsylvania as you see that happen. You can see that happen here, folks, in real time as Melissa Hart turns out the lead. Probably, I'm going to guess because of the lack of results, I'm going to guess most of these ballots probably come from Pittsburgh proper, just because of the lack of.
Those are. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. You're talking about different results.
Is she still a thing? I didn't know Melissa Hart was still a thing.
She dropped out.
She dropped. But remember, this is early vote. And she didn't drop out until like 5 days ago.
Because Republicans realized, oh my God, the field has finally split. Oh wait, no, it's been split.
It's almost like a competent state party can endorse a single candidate in a multi-candidate field.
Are we gonna just? I mean, keep doing it, but are we just gonna distract me tonight?
Joe, I need a distraction.
Look, I need something. We spent all the Ohio stream, and I was quietly mauling about the JD Vance thing. It's got to be your turn now.
Is it my turn? Oh, that's nice.
No, see, I still haven't forgiven your state for trying to steal our signed copy of the Bill of Rights. If you remember that happened, Chief Justice Paul Newby.
Yeah, no, that's just a thing.
Ed Rendell tried to steal our copy.
You know.
Yeah, and more votes in from the 4th district. Fushi is now up over 50% of the vote. 51%. Alam is only at 33%.
Yeah, that's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not great. Alam didn't have much funding going in her favor, so that's not unexpected. Her campaign, to be fair, not for a lack of trying on Alam's part, kind of went down the Nina Turner route of kind of getting blasted on TV and not answering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect to see that with Summer Lee. She did answer, so we will see. Now, I don't want to rain on your parade, Joe, but 42-22 for McCormick, not great for his home county.
Well, it's just early vote. You never know, Dylan. You're going to let me have hope here for about the first 10 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
All I'm going to ask is you give me 10 minutes. That's
okay.
all I'm
You have 10 minutes.
Give me 10 minutes of belief.
You got 2 minutes on the clock at 8:11. Hope dies.
Look, it's the Ozmentum coming in. Dr. Oz is going to win everywhere. Kathy Barnett's not a thing because the state party endorsed someone.
Yeah, the state party endorsed Dr. Oz.
But no, actually, now that I think of it, Connor Lamb only getting 40% Allegheny is actually pretty pathetic. That's pretty terrible for Connor Lamb.
Not a good showing.
Yeah, that's not good.
Gonna fail.
Okay.
How is Jeff Bartow still in the race?
Joe, I'm going to lay off you for a moment so I can go at Connor Lamb for running as I'm the electable Democrat, and completely flubbing it, even though he had an early fundraising lead. He had all the endorsements he could have wanted.
All of them, literally all the endorsements.
All the endorsements. And he can only get 40% of the vote in one of his best counties, and he still has the gall to run as the electability candidate. It's amazing. I know Democrats really like nominating wet blanket white bread moderates, but my God, this is a bad showing.
Well, no, they're
Certainly
going to
not
nominate
good.
Big Dude. They're going to nominate Big Dude.
Okay,
Hooray for-
you laugh, but Big Dude at least has a theory for why he could win. Connor
'Cause he's
Lamb
Big
didn't
Dude.
even put up a thesis.
Because he's Big Dude.
And again, you laugh, but those focus groups said they like Big Dude. So maybe Big Dude.
Certainly, am I just
Okay,
is this gonna be just a Joe Rose session for the next 2 to
Well,
3 hours
also-
potentially?
Why is
That
is
Kenyatta
what
still in the
Hold on.
race?
Sorry,
Kenyatta's at
I
two-
just
How
want
is he
to.
still in this race? How is Bartow still in this race? Why are these people still running?
Okay,
Because Eagle.
can I just say we have results from PA 12?
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
right ahead, Dylan. Please tell us.
Steve Irwin leads 51-31 in the early vote, but in that county, Ed Gainey was down by 19 points in the early vote last year. And Ed Gainey ended up winning the race by 7 points. So at this point in the election, Ed Gainey was only doing better by 1 point and still won by 7 over his opponent. So not great. You definitely want to not be losing by 20 points in the early vote, but not out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly we're getting towards now where hopefully it's going to start to get more results out of Pennsylvania than some of the
that's not ideal.
but
I
I don't think it's going to be a very fun night for me, I don't think.
Oh,
So-
and governor primary results.
Is it outside of Allegheny?
I don't know, but Bill McSwain leads 27-11 over.
I think that's still
North
just
Carolina.
Allegheny results.
That's No, that's got to be
okay.
Philadelphia. That's got to be Philadelphia results.
No, I think McSwain was doing all right.
But yeah, no, actually, this is surprising. Never mind. I was going to make a
Oh,
joke.
it probably is Philadelphia results. Excuse me. Yeah, it's definitely Philadelphia. Sorry, in the Philadelphia results here.
Okay.
Interestingly, here I want to bring this up here. Interestingly, in some of the early vote for Republicans in Pennsylvania, it is not Kathy Barnett in third place behind McCormick and Oz. It's George Bachetto, individual from Chester County, a financial planner.
Oh.
So I don't know if those are just just blanket early results or not, but I guess that's happening. So
It's a thing.
it's a thing.
Yep.
So again, no election day vote yet in Pennsylvania. No idea when we might get that. Quite honestly, so we'll see and we'll find out. But yeah. So Eric, do you have any results for us from updates from North Carolina?
Not any additional updates or calls from North Carolina. Again, these are mostly just early votes from what I can tell. We're waiting for election day votes to come in, especially on the Republican side. That's going to give us a better indication of things. Cawthorn's still down by 10 points. One could say he's down big right now, just in general. Yeah, he's going to need to improve that. Really, though, there's nothing other of note that I've seen come in. We're just kind of waiting for election day votes. We're waiting for stuff. But yeah. Actually, Philadelphia Democratic primary results from this early vote. I guess Kenyatta is leading in Philadelphia. So there's that.
Good for him.
Good for Kenyatta.
Connor Lamb is in third because
oh man, I don't think I've ever been happier to see a moderate Democrat's career crash and burn. We do have more results, it looks like, for the Republican primary, for the Republican Senate primary out of Northampton.
Northampton.
McCormick 36, Oz 24, Barnett 18.
Hooray for the early vote! Hooray! Hooray for the early vote! Woo!
Dr. Oz is currently leading in Philadelphia, according to this early vote, according to DDHQ.
Yep.
Barnett is at 13%. Again, we don't know how this election day goes. This says 2% of the vote is in. take everything with a grain of salt. We could be witnessing the Jeff Bartos revolution or something. I really don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab a quick drink of water, but Dylan, take us away. What are your thoughts of the first results out of the 12th district?
Not good. Being down by 20 in the early vote, even if the early vote, Democratic early votes and mail-in votes tend to be older and whiter, and that is a demographic that will go for Steve Irwin. You still don't want to be down 20 points in the early vote. That's still bad.
Yeah. I think we're really forgetting the crucial crocodile vote in this district. Sorry, I had to make the joke.
Thank you.
Had to introduce some cringe humor, but yeah, I just can't think of the name. Just like that's a really awful, like just in general having a meme name. That's interesting.
No, honestly, the one that's funnier is the Republican running in that district is named Mike Doyle.
That's not confusing at all.
That is a true thing. The Republican in that race is named Mike Doyle.
That is almost as funny as the Ron Estes Kansas 4th primary.
Yeah, I forgot about the Ron Estes race. I forgot about that.
That was such a fun. Elections are stupid, but at least they produce good memes once in a while.
The good memes are there. Certainly the good memes.
The good memes.
So,
yeah.
We're still waiting for results out of Pennsylvania and North Carolina tonight, folks. Obviously, of course, those are the big two races.
We got a call. We got a call.
We have a call.
Yep.
Oh, and we have results out of Philadelphia for the Republicans.
What's the call there, Eric? Could you tell us the call?
All right. In the 4th district, DDHQ has called Valerie Vouchy as the winner in the race. She leads 51-33 right now. This is a big win for establishment Democrats. Although it's worth noting there seemed to be bizarrely little to no momentum for the Allen campaign going into recent weeks. This is not a race progressives are paying a lot of attention to. I'm not exactly sure why, although the endorsements were all there. The energy just never really coalesced into a candidacy, I don't think. So, yeah.
I mean, no, what happened there was I think progressive strategists looked at all of the AIPAC money and went, okay, we can only afford one of the two races. Which one do we want to support? And all the money went to Summer Lee. I think that's what's happened here.
Yeah, I mean, really, the district is, you got Durham, you got Chapel Hill, you've got some areas. There are a lot of other portions of the district, though. There's another third of it that's Republican leaning, has a lot of primary voters still for Democrats. And on top of that, only one of the counties voted for Bernie, Chapel or Orange County, which is the smallest portion of the district, not in the primary vote, but overall. Again, not surprising. We expected this going in, but this is a pretty big loss for Democrats. Fouchy will come in. She may even join the Progressive Caucus.
No, she was endorsed by the New Democrats, I believe.
Oh, New Democrats. So yeah, so she'll probably be in lines with. Also, that's kind of a downgrade from Price, then, because I'm pretty sure Price is in the Progressive Caucus.
Yeah, no, it's a downgrade. Price was all right.
Now, granted, Price was known for working across party lines, bringing in money into the district, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, that's actually genuinely surprising. That's kind of a reversal. That's kind of the revenge of the moderate Durham establishment, I guess, or not moderate, just Durham establishment in general.
I mean, I think what we're learning is the establishment Democrats have their playbook. You just have to spend obscene amounts of money and drown out the progressive because they can't raise the money to compete with AIPAC at this point. Like, we've seen it in 3 races now. They can't do it. They can get close, like with Summer Lee, but they have to put all their eggs in that basket. You either need to do whatever it takes to keep them out of the race, or you need to really tamp down on where you're going. We have our first results out of Philadelphia for the Republican Senate race.
Yeah, I believe it's Dr. Oz out there.
Again, these are early votes, and very few Republicans vote early.
Yeah, 26, 24, 22, McCormick in second. Barnett.
Yeah, we're not going to read heavily into the early vote tonight. That's for sure. Especially on the Republican side, we're not going to read too heavily into that. Not yet, at least.
But yeah, for Joe's sake, we're stopping the count right now. The Pennsylvania races.
It's over. It's over, Joe. You did it.
I'm
You made
free.
it through the night.
I'm free.
You're free. Well, okay. I'm going to talk about Oregon because that makes no. I'm not.
Go
gonna
ahead.
talk
Go
about
ahead,
Oregon,
Dylan.
but
Talk
that
a little
does
about
make
Oregon.
so. There's another district that I think is kind of interesting to look at. Oregon's 6th. Carrick Flynn might have had the most outside money backing him in any Democratic primary. The Protect Our Future PAC put $12 million behind him.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for a 7-person race. It's a lot of money. There's really not much of an answer anybody else has. The Progressive Caucus endorsed, oh God, I forget her name again. Or looking it up, looking it up. Oregon 6th. Oh, Andrea Salinas, the Progressive Caucuses put themselves have backed her. I expect Carrick Flynn to win. You don't beat $12 million very often unless the candidate is incredibly toxic, and Carrick Flynn is just very boring. So I suspect he'll win. That's all. That's all I got. I can't even make that race seem happy.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, we're going to see, I think, Pennsylvania results kind of coming at a slow roll tonight, I think, folks. Sadly, from what I'm looking at right now, it seems like we're going to have a bit of a slower roll right now for that right now. But, Eric, I want to go kind of take a back look now at back to that North Carolina 11th race. But wait, hold up a second here. We did just get a couple of big drops here on DDHQ from the absentee vote here in Pennsylvania. Right now, we have currently with the absentee vote, we have Bill McSwain, excuse me, with a lot of the couple of big counties in Jefferson. We had not a lot of big counties, but we do have some stuff from Bucks, Northampton, as well as Washington counties and Allegheny, of course, with the early absentee vote in. Right now, McSwain leads that with about 28.5% of the vote. Melissa Hart, due to a lot of early voters in Allegheny voting for their only candidate in the Pennsylvania governor's race, is in 2nd right now, but she has dropped out. Lou Barletta is in 3rd. Dave White is in 4th, and Doug Mastriano in 5th right now, according to the current early vote totals right now. While in the Pennsylvania Senate race, Dave McCormick is currently leading a good chunk of the early vote as well, including probably slightly surprising early vote victories in Northampton and Bucks counties. But again, we're not going to read into that too much. There was a lot of election day vote here in Pennsylvania that we're going to have to get through. So do not look in too far into that election day, to that early vote here in Pennsylvania.
So
but, Eric, do you have anything for us yet from the 11th district?
Yeah, not anything new. We have results in from all counties, which is interesting. I could show those.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so let's pull this up right here. Kind of shows you a clear line of where Cawthorn's support is coming from and where it's not coming from. Chuck Edwards is doing the best in counties that Chuck Edwards represents or is close to representing. And Chuck Edwards is doing the worst, and Cawthorn is doing the best in counties where Chuck Edwards is not representing in the Senate. So the really bad thing, though, is that this Buncombe, Henderson, Transylvania, Polk, even Macon, corridor right here, this is really bad. Cawthorn's doing pretty well in Jackson County, home of Western Carolina. That's an interesting result. He's doing okay in these sort of barrier counties right here that are kind of distant from the rest of the Asheville area. And then he's doing well in these mountain counties over here. Really well, in fact, in these areas that are more disconnected from the Asheville area. So it seems kind of be a split between Asheville and not Asheville right now. That's just what it looks like to me. The voting method right now. So let's look at the election day votes, absentee one stop and whatnot. So Edwards leads the absentee one stop. Cawthorn narrowly leading election day voting right now, but only narrowly. And then absentee by mail, Edwards is clobbered Cawthorn. So, if you're Cawthorn, probably these election day results where he's currently leading by 33 votes. That's probably the best you could say for Cawthorn. That's just what we're seeing right now.
So, Joe, I had a question about the early votes in PA. Is
Go ahead.
fair to say that those would favor the Barletta McSwain White cohort, since
I would say so, or at least probably more towards McSwain for sure.
Since the Trump endorsement came like 2 days ago.
Well, it was about 4 days ago, but yeah, I mean,
What is time?
yeah. But that's certainly kind of an interesting thing about the early vote in Pennsylvania. Obviously, Trump, the endorsement in the governor's race didn't come down until very late. So that is kind of a story here. We'll see how much his messaging has resonated there. Obviously, Mastriano already had a lot of on the ground support. But certainly, again, something that could make it potentially closer is the fact that the endorsement was so late. That has been something I've heard as a worry from some people, is that because of how late the endorsement was, it might not have gotten out necessarily the key areas yet. But again, I have to say it with aplomb. This is the estimated early vote in Pennsylvania. Not a lot of Pennsylvania Republicans voted early or absentee this year. So I would again not look very heavily into these races here.
Oh yeah. No,
Pennsylvania
of course. I just
Republicans
wanted to
don't
give
like
us
early
something
voting.
to talk to.
Yeah. Pennsylvania
Yeah,
Republicans do
talk
not like
about.
early voting at all.
Oh, very rarely.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to give us something to talk about because it seems like these results are going to take a while.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say
bueno.
this, but can we be more like North Carolina, guys? Or even, dare I say it, Florida?
Yeah, Florida has good vote counting measures. I think you can trash them for other things, but I don't think.
Don't worry, I will.
I'm sure you will, but I don't think you can deny that. Florida certainly does good in other areas.
Yeah, but whether Summerlee wins or not a great night for progressives so far.
That certainly seems to be the case.
Erica Smith and Valerie Foushee, Erica Smith and Nita Alam both going down. Not a great result. If Summerlee loses, that's a pretty catastrophic result. Summerlee was maybe the best progressive lefty recruit of the cycle. That's not to say no progressives have won. Greg Kassar won. Jasmine Crockett is expected to win her runoff in Texas. There are other progressives likely to pull it out, but Summerlee was the one with the most energy. It's not a great night for them.
Certainly, you could argue that. Again, we're kind of in this lull as Pennsylvania again struggles to report results in a fashionly manner, because for some reason that's just what happens here. But kind of just continuing to look around here, and we're going to see kind of where we're going at here, folks. Kind of just in the waiting period right now.
Also, not a great night for the K-Hive.
The K-Hive very upset on Twitter, I'm sure, at this point.
Yeah, K-Hive very upset. I don't know. They've blocked me.
What are they upset about?
Because they were big
uncontrollable.
Lamb guys. They did not like Fetterman.
Oh, I wasn't aware the K-Hive was even still a thing.
Oh, I wish I had that. I wish I had that luxury.
I do too.
I don't see the K-Hive much, but when I do, it's never good.
That, again, I would say very true. That's for sure.
It's like when I see Jimmy Dore on my Twitter feed. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be good.
That's probably the case, one would have to say. So again, we're just slowly but surely waiting for results to come in here for Pennsylvania. Eric,
we have a race call, North Carolina. We count our ballots here very quickly. Don Davis is the nominee in the 1st District. DDHQ has called the race for Don Davis, has defeated Erica Smith, former state senator and perennial candidate, I guess you could say at this point, given her quixotic 2018 Senate campaign.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Wait, no, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Sorry, 2020.
I was also, I want to circle back to a race that bewilders me. Kentucky. Why? Why would Charles Booker run for Senate instead of the open seat held by his mentor?
Well, it's all the money. It's the money. All the money you can
You're
get.
not getting the money.
He's
You're
going to
not-
defeat. Just watch. He's going to defeat Rand Paul. He's going to shock the world.
You're not getting the money. If you were getting the $20 million, I could see it. It makes sense. It's slimy, but it makes sense. He's not getting the money.
Very true. He's not getting the money.
I don't understand it. I mean, after he lost the primary in 2020, I had just assumed he was going to run for the congressional seat, even against Yarmouth.
It seemed like a pretty wide open ta-da for him. Like, he was like,
He was
the door.
mayor. He was mayor of Louisville. Slam dunk.
Why be the mayor of Louisville when you could be the hero of Resist Lib Twitter?
Hooray! Ooh, for Resist Lib Twitter. Ooh.
Jokes on Charles Booker. Marcus Flowers already has that title.
That's true. That's very true, Dylan. That's very true. Massive truth by Dylan. As we're still waiting for results from many key counties in Pennsylvania. And as it's already been 30 minutes till poll closings, and we have nothing from Election Day yet. Hooray for the Give a round of applause, everyone. Round of applause for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Dylan, join in with a round of applause if you can. Join in.
I can't.
Greatest state
My
in the
hands
country.
don't work.
Oh, no. You see, this is why I should have run for state rep, because I would have run on the fact that I was going to fix the way we counted ballots. And I would have won. Damn it.
Well, hey, do you want some more frustration? New York is about to pass a bunch of election reform bills, and none of them fix the way they count the votes.
Hey!
Hey.
Well,
Yay!
clearly, New York's problem was with voter suppression, and a bunch of Republican things that definitely have not been a thing in New York, ever.
I mean, hey, you know what I'll say about New York? At least their leading gubernatorial candidate doesn't want to deregister everyone to vote.
We do have some more results in from North Carolina's 11th district.
Oh, hooray.
Sorry,
Edwards
Joe, it was right there.
Edwards is still up 37 to 29 now. Cawthorn has a little bit of a lead with Election Day votes. He's up by 300 with the Election Day votes in the district. I'm not sure that's going to be enough to erase anything, given Edwards has this massive 3,400 vote absentee lead, and then another 400 from absentee by mail. So he's going to need to do a lot better than that if he wants to get back in this thing. But he is gaining slightly. He's gaining relatively slightly because he's leading in some of these.
I mean, that's roughly what we expected, I think. The Election Day votes tend to be a little more Trumpy. They tend to favor the I don't even know what the right word would be, because it's not really an ideological difference between the two. It's not a Trump endorsement difference between the two.
It's worth noting that Cherokee County, Graham County, some of these counties already have precincts entirely reporting, and those are ones that would be favorable to Cawthorn. So that's just worth noting as well. Whereas places like Buncombe, Madison has a couple precincts in, but like Buncombe, Henderson, those don't have any precincts. Transylvania does have precincts. It has 11 to 15 in. So, let me see.
I would also like to take a moment to make an example of how Fetterman ran his campaign for other progressive campaigns to use. Go on TV.
Well, no, clearly the way you can do this is to hold a gun to an unarmed black person. At that point, that's just the way to do all of it.
The fact that Connor Lamb
I want to update here. Decision Desk HQ, by the way, is saying for that 11th district primary that 73% of the votes are in. Wow. So, are we now in the conversation realm that Madison Cawthorn may be going down tonight to Chuck Edwards? Eric, yes. Are we in that conversation point?
We're in the conversation realm. Yes, I want to see more votes come in. It's a 7-point lead right now. Edwards has 36%. This is definitely not going to a runoff. That being said, it would be pretty embarrassing even if Cawthorn managed to pull this out, because he would definitely be doing with less than 33% of the vote if that were to happen.
Yeah, he'd be
So-
winning this like 32-31.
That's beyond embarrassing for an incumbent congressman. Let's just put it that way.
Oh,
Beyond
absolutely.
embarrassing.
Absolutely.
I just want to point out right now, I'm not
More votes in. More votes.
more votes from where?
More
More votes. Yep. We've got more votes in from the 11th district right now, according to the State Board of Elections, North
Can you
Carolina.
bring it up, Eric?
Yes. Pull this up right here. Edwards is currently leading by about 3,500 votes. I believe DDHU has the same results.
All right.
Let's look at this right here. But the North Carolina State Board of Elections has the county level results. So let's look at the counties. Let's look at the ones that are in. Cherokee County, almost all in. That's a 46% Cawthorn County. Graham County, all in. That's a 42% Cawthorn County. We're kind of looking more through here. Transylvania is almost all in. That's a heavy Edwards County. Henderson's in. That's 10 of 35 precincts reporting. It's a heavy Edwards County. No precincts in from Buncombe, 2 from Madison, 2 from Yancey, 2 from McDowell, none from Rutherford. So basically, we're just getting a lot more stuff coming in. And the election day vote lead for Cawthorn's up to 400 votes now. But again, that's not enough to make up a 3,600 vote deficit in the early or the absentee and absentee by mail voting. So he's gaining a little bit. He's certainly gaining a little bit. But a lot of these votes are coming from these counties that are predispositioned to vote for Cawthorn, and not the ones that he's doing very terribly in right now.
Yes. I will eat crow on this one. I kind of think Cawthorn's going down now.
That would be, I mean,
That'd be
would
fascinating.
would that be a big upset tonight if Cawthorn goes down? Would
That's
you
a Trump
consider that an
endorsed candidate.
upset?
Trump officially re-endorsed him. This is another Trump endorsed candidate defeated. I mean, if Edwards holds on here.
I mean, I don't think that's a massive upset. I think it's a surprise, but not a huge one given the multitude of scandals.
I think one thing's for sure, and that's to not piss off Tom Tillis, I think.
Yeah, for real. I do think it's ironic that after all of Cawthorn's scandals, the one that got him thrown under the bus was maybe the truest thing he ever said.
Just for future reference, North Carolina, don't go talking about cocaine sex orgies. That's just a start. Also, don't cross Tom Tillis. Don't cross, you don't cross the mafia don. You don't cross, the sheriff. You don't cross Tom Tillis.
I'm convinced he would have won this race if not for that cocaine sex orgy comment. I really am. I'm convinced.
So I just want to bring up something here, folks, just to continue the show of the glorious potential bastardized Quakerization that is the state of Pennsylvania. I will share with you guys here. As you can see, within the early vote here in Montgomery County, because Kathy Barnett is from there, Kathy Barnett is winning the early vote there. And you see David McCormick, because he is from Allegheny County, is winning the early vote there. But wait, it gets better. We have Dave White winning in Delaware County, because that's where he resides. We have Melissa Hart, even though she's already dropped out, winning in Allegheny County, because that's where she resides. We have Jake Corman, who has also dropped out, winning around Centre County and Clinton County, because that's where he lives and represents.
Yeah. Y'all are memes.
We have Lou Barletta winning in Susquehanna County, because that's around the Northeast where he represents. We also have Barletta leading in Dauphin County, because he used to represent parts of Dauphin County. Surprisingly, Mastriotto's not winning the early vote in New York, which I'm kind of surprised by. But
Y'all are memes.
Yes. Look at the glorious memes. Look at all the glory.
So are you at all concerned by the Kathy Barnett votes that are coming in
Not yet.
on the Senate side?
No. And I'm going to say why here. Barnett, again, she never led in any public poll. And the election day vote would have to, I think, still be very heavily to her. And I think a key thing, too, is that she's behind Oz. And other than Montgomery County, she's behind Oz or McCormick In the case of Philadelphia, she's behind Oz in a lot of these counties. So I think that's kind of my thought process there, is not only will she have to take away votes from Oz from Trump supporters, but then she's also going to have to overtake him. I think that's where the hard part of this math comes in, I think, for Barnett.
I think we have more results in
What are we talking about here, Dylan?
everywhere. It looks like I just got quite a few updates on my screen. Pennsylvania 12. I can't tell if things have changed because the margin hasn't changed. It looks like it updated. 41,000 votes in. Steve Irwin up 51 to 30.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so definitely something to keep an eye on right now. Just an update, again, grain of salt. By the way, we have heard from friends that it sounds like we will not be seeing election day votes in from Pennsylvania until 9 o'clock. So that's another 20 minutes until we really won't be seeing election day vote in Pennsylvania.
That's
as a heads
gross.
Up. That is gross. I agree. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm. The only thing more gross than that is the Pittsburgh Steelers fans who come to Bank of America Stadium and take over the stadium whenever they
Yes,
play the
because we have fans from everywhere. Hooray! Hooray for the Yinzers. Please save us tonight, Yinzers. Please save us tonight. I have brought my terrible towel with me to the stream room tonight in the hope that the Yinzers will save us from Western Pennsylvania. Go, Yinzers, go.
And if they don't, you know what? So you can cry.
Be the bastardized Quakers you are and vote for your home county man.
I think it's ironic, Joe, that you want Western PA to save you from Doug, but also give you McCormick.
I have to pledge for things, dang it. I must pray. I went to church this morning and prayed even. You've got to try. You've got to try even a little bit.
You've got to try.
You've got to try. If you don't try, then you failed.
I mean, you could also try and fail. Those are things.
I guess that's fair.
9 o'clock. That's almost that's almost as bad as New Jersey.
Yeah, it's not good. It's no
Do you
bueno.
remember? Do you remember that primary last year? We were getting results.
because I didn't have to care about that, Dylan. I was happy in ignoring things in Virginia.
You're right. But hey, there is a solid chance that you now have a senator from New Jersey, so you'll have to pay attention next time.
Shame.
Let me have my moment. It's all getting taken from me soon anyway.
That is true. That is true. So we're going to be waiting here on Pennsylvania election day votes until 9 o'clock, apparently.
Oh,
so hooray. Hooray for the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Eric, have you seen anything else interesting come in from North Carolina at all?
Not yet, no. Other than the fact that Matthew Burrell currently has 4,444 votes and is in third place in the 11th district primary.
Oh, good for him.
I also wanted to point out a race that progressives didn't put a lot of money behind, but put a little bit behind. House District 3, Dwight Evans was being primaried from the left by Alexandra Hunt. She got some attention, not a lot of spending for her. She's currently losing 80 to 16. Not surprising. She's, from what I've read, a carpetbagger from New York.
Yeah, this is a white lady in a majority black seat.
Yeah, this is not surprising.
Yeah, that's not surprising me whatsoever. We should not have white people trying to represent
majority minority districts.
Yes, we should not be doing that. That is bad.
No, give people representation.
Yes, that is better. So we're still waiting here, folks, from for some more election day results across the states of Pennsylvania and North Carolina. Obviously, of course, polls in Oregon and Idaho do not close until significantly later times. Oregon won't close until we'll actually be shutting the stream off for the night at around 11 o'clock because we're all East Coasters here, and we would like to be able to go do things or sleep a little bit. So,
yeah, we'll probably talk about that on Elections Weekly.
Yes, we'll talk about that on Elections Weekly, which we're probably going to are thinking we're probably going to do a special Wednesday version tomorrow because of the crucial importance of these races. We'll be on tomorrow for a special post-primary view of Elections Weekly. Will be on tomorrow, usual time at 5:15. We believe at this point. We will see if we can have Kraz on tomorrow night or not. He wasn't able to come on with us tonight. I don't think he's going to be able to come on with us tomorrow night either, but we'll check in. But otherwise, me, Eric, and Dylan will all be here at 5:15 tomorrow to go over some of the kind of review some of the key results from tonight.
If we know all
into
of
it
them.
here.
If we know all of them, because apparently Oregon is stupid too.
Yes, that is true. Oregon also bad. Not as bad as Pennsylvania, but not good either. Still waiting again. We're going to be waiting until
9 o'clock.
Obviously 9 o'clock tonight, folks. We're going to continue to repeat that time here for the next 14 minutes. As I get text from a friend who has a godfather in Pennsylvania who said he voted for McCormick and Barletta, as he excitingly texts me that. If you hear my dings coming from my computer, so I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
But obviously, of course, we're still seeing early vote as the main component tonight. We're also waiting for Election Day vote in North Carolina. Crucially, it looks right now in the 11th Congressional District, Madison Cawthorn in deep danger tonight of potentially losing that race to Chuck Edwards, a state senator from Buncombe, Henderson, and Transylvania counties. There is legitimate concern right now that we are going to see along some of the more conservative aisles that Cawthorn could fall tonight as well, which would be an interesting result. That is for sure. Otherwise, we're pretty much done with most of the big races in North Carolina tonight. There are still a couple, like I said, there are still a couple of House races to look at, but in other words, we are almost basically il finite with the tight races in North Carolina. Thanks to North Carolina's clearly superior vote counting system. North Carolina, I'll give credence to Eric there. North Carolina is very clearly better vote counting system.
Mm-hmm.
Be very.
We also have a more competent Republican Party. Just saying.
Yeah, it must be nice to have one of those.
It's pretty good.
Can I have a competent Democratic Party? One not run by Sean Patrick Maloney?
You live in New Jersey. You have a safe blue state. I
have a corrupt Democratic Party.
But it's still safe blue. You can deal.
Competently corrupt.
Okay, the mayor of Jersey, I believe it was Jersey City, got arrested for taking change out of parking meters. We are not competently corrupt.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look it up. That's a real story.
Dylan, because to force time, we're going to ask you to tell us the story.
Well, what was he getting the money out of it? How much money was he getting from this operation?
Probably not much. I'm looking it up. I remember reading that and thinking, oh, that fits. That fits. Yes, Jersey Shore mayor pocketed parking meter money and sold borough furniture. So let's see. Let's read the full story. It does not say how
Oh,
much
he's a Republican.
money.
He's a Republican. So he's not a Democrat. He's a Republican.
He's a
Oh,
Republican.
he's one of our guys. That makes more sense.
That does. Well, honestly, with how New Jersey is, I would have believed it either way. It doesn't say how much money he pocketed. I can't imagine it was much. But come on, dude. You're a mayor in New Jersey. You do not need to steal change from parking meters. The selling furniture thing, okay, that's corrupt, but I can see that. Change.
You got to
from
think bigger. You got to think big.
Yeah. I've always said if I'm going to commit a crime, it's not going to be for anything lower than like a few million. High risk, high reward.
So additional votes in from NC11, 80% of the vote in. Chuck Edwards holding on to a 6% lead over Madison Cawthorn. Right now, election day vote, Cawthorn has about 1,000-point lead or 1,000-vote lead, not 1,000% lead. Although a lot of these are again from these western counties that have mostly come all in. Worth noting, Madison County has flipped to Cawthorn. Right now, Edwards is winning in Transylvania, Henderson, and Buncombe counties, which conveniently are counties he represents in the state Senate. This is pretty. It's still pretty close. It's 3,000 vote margin. 80% of the vote in. We're still waiting for a lot of precincts here, so this could be a nail biter. But I'd still rather be Edwards, but this could very well be a nail biter.
Yeah, I mean, with 80% of the vote in, I'd rather be the guy 6 points up.
I don't think I can disagree with that, quite honestly. So
I would find it odd if you did.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah.
Eric, do you mind if you bring up the NC State Board of Elections again and just kind of show us the counties there again? If you could just kind of show us those numbers, please.
Mm-hmm. It's worth noting. It looks like the brunt of the vote that is left is from Buncombe County. The brunt of the vote that is missing so far. So right now, this is the map so far. All the orange counties are for Cawthorn, and the gray ones are for Chuck Edwards. So let's go ahead and look up the 48th.
Actually, not a horrendous result. Like
48th Senate.
Like if I'm Cawthorn, I don't like being down that much, but I'm winning all but 3 counties. I don't hate that because I'm sure there are more votes coming in for me left.
The problem is a lot of these votes that have come in are from counties he had won, whereas the ones that Edwards is winning are not in. But you'll notice all the counties where Edwards is doing best in are the ones he currently represents in the state Senate. He's pulling 49% in Transylvania. That's almost all in. 45% in Henderson. That's Cawthorn's home county. A lot of votes there. And 41% in Buncombe. Cawthorn's only pulling 19% there. And then a lot of these counties are all in or mostly in, which is not good for Cawthorn.
No, not good at all.
Not bueno.
Not bueno.
Again, we're 7 minutes from 8 o'clock when we expect the first numbers to start to come in from Election Day on the night in Pennsylvania. So we're hopefully gonna see that soon, we hope, as we get into the night here. But right now, we continue to look right now. We are starting to see more counties, however, though, report votes in Pennsylvania on the Republican side for those early vote totals here. Starting to see it right now. Again, I'll report. We're estimating about 8% in here on DDHQ. Dave McCormick with the absentee vote leads 32 to 23 over Dr. R. Kathy Barnett in third with about 20.2% of the vote. Oz is about 23.6. McCormick is right around 32.
Yeah.
In the governor's primary, we have Bill McSwain currently in first with the absentee early vote in with 24.4. Mastriano is in with 18.5%, but it should be said that Mastriano and McSwain's Mastriano's home area is in Franklin. It should be said. And then Barletta is in third with 16.2, and Dave White in fourth with 14.7%. So that's, again, this is the early absentee vote in Pennsylvania. We are asking folks to not look into this particularly heavy because of just the status of these votes and kind of how they're coming in here.
That's a Stalinist margin in Franklin County.
Well,
for
that's his home
Mastriano.
county, so
That's absurd.
that's how it's going to go out there in those two counties. I mean, Barletta's getting 68.3% Luzerne himself.
Again, remember the county is listed on the ballot for candidates.
Why do they do that?
Because we like it. We like to do that.
Why do you have the county line?
I don't know, Eric. I don't like the county line.
I was going to say, I don't think Dylan's one who, as a progressive, I don't think Dylan's the one who particularly likes the county line.
Yeah, you're coming at the wrong guy. If I could take the county line out, I would.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a projection now, though. This is certainly an expected projection tonight, but it is a... Oh, and we don't have the graphic on here, but I will say it, though. John Fetterman is now officially the Democratic nominee for Senate in Pennsylvania to the Lieutenant Governor, as called by Decision Desk HQ, will be the nominee for Senate for Democrats in Pennsylvania in this incredibly key Senate race. Did I miss something?
Cope and Seethe K-Hive.
Dylan is experiencing joy for the first time tonight.
And probably the last.
That's fair.
But that is okay.
Sorry, buddy.
Can we change on the Summer Lee numbers? Is Summer Lee still losing?
Summer Lee is still
losing,
down. Let me check here. Summer Lee is
vote.
still down 52-30.
But that's without early vote.
That's still again. This is all early vote.
Election.
Allegheny's the one to really watch here, of course. So we're gonna see where that goes.
Yeah, I look. Do I think she's gonna win? I don't like those numbers. I wouldn't put any money on it. Do I think that margin will tighten significantly? Yes, because the early vote is going to favor Irwin. It's older, it's whiter, it's more moderate.
That's definitely true.
So I expect Summer Lee to do better with the election day votes, but I don't know that it's enough to overcome a 20-point lead.
That's also very true. So we're going to really see how this goes here today.
But you know what? Cope and Seethe K-Hive, I'll take it.
Dylan's happy with that.
I'll take it.
He's a happy man. He's a happy boy.
I'm content.
He's content.
I'm content. Because at least there are 2 more progressives headed to Congress.
Dylan is pleased with that result.
I am pleased with that result. So I assume we're not going to talk about the New York map.
I mean, not particularly interested in it, quite honestly.
It's bad. I don't like it. Upstate's fine. Long Island is fine.
It's there. It's what's happening.
City is bad. I don't like the city. It's pretty bad.
I would like to take this time before
Eric,
the
I just want to say here, folks, we have Decision Desk is saying about 92% of the vote is in the 11th district, and Chuck Edwards still has around about a 2,700 vote lead, which adds up to about 4.8% right now of the vote. Eric, do you mind going and checking that on the Board of Elections, please?
Board of Elections says that 120 of 275 precincts are reporting, but a lot of these are in Buncombe County, and some of them are going to have very little Republican votes because Buncombe County is basically the East Coast version of San Francisco, or at least the Asheville portion is. So I could see that. If that's the case, that's really bad for Cawthorn. Again, a lot of these counties that are all in, Polk County, mostly in Madison County, no relation to the Cawthorn, Graham, Cherokee, Macon. Most of these counties are all in or mostly in. So,
yeah, but like we've said this whole time, do not look too deeply into the results right now. The election day votes will decide this. I don't.
Well, they're saying 92% of all votes in the district are in.
In which district? I'm sorry.
11th, NC 11.
No, I'm sorry. I meant in Pennsylvania. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about Cawthorn.
I am distracted. Sorry. chaos. There are too many things happening.
Chaos indeed.
Too much chaos. You
Too
asked
much
for it.
I did ask. For
I didn't
maximum
ask for this.
chaos.
What are you talking about? I didn't ask for this.
He asked for chaos. Dylan asked.
I
for
just
chaos.
wanted something nice and calm.
I did ask for
Oh, I
chaos.
asked.
I honestly though, maximum chaos would have been Trump endorsing Barnett after the debate.
So, question for you, Joe. In the 17th district, what do you think of the Republican candidates there? Right now, Jeremy Schaefer has a 55% lead.
Yeah,
Other two are like 22.5.
Schaefer was the guy we expected to win. I don't think he's great. He primaried a state senator in 2018 and then lost that seat by about 2.2%.
That's not good.
That's
You know,
not great.
questionable outcome. You know, with that, but we'll see. You know, this is the type of wave here where it's only about a Biden plus 5.5 seat here. So, you know, if the North Allegheny suburbs decide to swing back to 2016, 2014 margins, we'll have a good night there. So, you know, this is a seat that I think is based a little bit more around where does a swing back happen rather than necessarily a candidate quality.
So Eric, just curious, you might have said this. The votes that are left in NC11, I think the big counties are done. Is that correct? Is that what I've read?
No, it's the small counties.
I thought it was Buncombe that was done.
Oh, no, they're showing
Buncombe.
more precincts now. Buncombe is about 26 of 80 in. And Transylvania's almost all in. And there's a bunch of small counties that mostly in that have voted for Cawthorn.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It's mostly a wash at this point, I think. Cawthorn's only leading EDA by 1,200 votes, and he's losing the early vote by about 3,600. So,
well, folks, it is 9 o'clock, so we're starting to expect Election Day votes now to come in Pennsylvania. So we're going to see how that goes. Hopefully, we start getting some quicker results here. It'd be nice because it would help us out here because we've been going now for 2 hours.
We have the first results, the first Election Day results for PA 12.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Dylan.
Summerlee won that batch. It looks like by nearly 2-1. She got 1,100 votes, and Steve Irwin got 400 votes. So that's roughly what we expected. The Election Day votes are going to be very favorable to her. All that remains to be seen is there enough Election Day vote to close the gap? I don't know.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, I hope so.
Yeah. And I hate to say it for Joe, but Mastriano is going to just utterly obliterate everyone in this primary.
Oh, yeah, Mastriano is going to lap the field.
It's going to be a nightmare.
He's in second place with mostly mail-ins. He's going to lap the field.
Well, now he's in first place.
Oh, he's in first place
now?
now?
We are starting to see Election Day vote come in, apparently. Apparently, some of these smaller counties have reported Election Day vote, and they're going pretty heavily for Mastriano.
Yeah.
Yeah, no bueno.
And it
No,
looks
senor.
like in the Republican Senate primary, Oz has closed the gap a little bit. 32-25, which is not unexpected. And that's mostly with McCormick's counties coming in Western PA.
Mm-hmm. That is for sure.
But so far, what I'm not seeing, at least, is any kind of Barnett surge. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, she's winning in Jefferson, but she's not winning in Cambria. Apparently, I do want to say, according to reports, that those votes in Cambria are Election Day votes. So that is something to point out here. It seems like Cambria County currently has Election Day votes right now going in compared to some other parts of the county as we look here at Decision Desk HQ. So this is the problem, like I said. This is the problem with Pennsylvania, is that we have no idea what's early vote necessarily and what's Election Day vote. That's something you're going to have to really look at the State Board of Elections for, which is also not very, not particularly fantastic.
So I don't want to give you a hard time for your state party, Joe, but I do have to ask, why is there no distinction? That seems very easy to make. Like the Board of Elections.
Because, like I said, we had a failure, a big league failure of this.
I didn't realize the failure was so pronounced.
Oh, it was very pronounced. Very big failure.
Bigly or big league?
Bigly
Bigly.
failure. Many
Big league failure. It does look like we have more Senate. Oh, a lot more results in. Oz closing the gap again, 32-26. Mastriano up 28-20.
Oh no. Play taps. Oh dear.
I
Oh,
can't play
dear.
taps, but I'm playing it in my head.
Dirt, dirt, dirt.
There-
Dirt, dirt, dirt. Dirt, 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 dirt.
So we have some additional results coming in from District 11. Edwards is still up 4 points over Cawthorn. 95% of the vote is in. Let's go ahead and look at Buncombe. Yeah, Edwards is still leading quite a large margin there. Election day votes, Chuck Edwards is ahead by 100 in Buncombe County. That's not how you're going to gain back votes for Cawthorn.
No, but yeah, it's going to be tough for Cawthorn. You got to make up 4 points and 5% of the vote. I don't like.
Well, he needs to win. I don't think he can do it. He's.
No.
I was told my taps to not have enough dejection.
Yeah, he's leading with 1,300 votes.
So,
he's leading.
So can I try again to be more dejected?
Yes, please.
Dur, dur, dur.
Are you doing that in honor of Edgar?
Do, 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 do. This is, but all joking aside, this is a really terrible result.
Oh, Joe, if it makes you feel better, we might both be doing taps together in an hour.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Look at all the glorious failure.
Oh,
yeah, I don't think there's any way Cawthorn can make up.
Sorry, no, more results in from PA 12.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Summerlee closes the gap a little bit. Irwin down 2 points, 49%. Summerlee at 33. So, again, not great, but closing the gap. Just remains to be seen if there are enough votes left. Sorry, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit to get an official call, but right now, Edwards is still up by over 2,000 votes over Cawthorn. That's a 3 percentage point margin. Election day votes are doing a little bit better, but again, lots of those counties these rural counties are basically cleaned up, a lot of them. Rutherford County's all in. Polk is almost all in. McDowell is mostly in. Madison's almost in. And then the really, really red one, I think Clay County is the only one that's not had any election day votes come in at all. And then there's still a third of precincts left in Henderson, and then or a little bit over a third of the ones in from Buncombe County, where right now Edwards is leading by over 100 votes in the election day vote. So, I need to see something significant for Cawthorn to come back here. He's gaining a little bit. He's about a 1,700 vote election day margin. But again, like I said, this is a 2,000 vote margin right now. He's going to need to double that with what amounts to 95% of the vote in. Very difficult to do.
Yeah, that's unlikely to say the least. Mastriano expands his lead 29-20.
This is bad.
Yeah, I don't think it can be overstated how look, I'm a Democrat. I wasn't going to like any of these gubernatorial candidates. I don't know that it can be overstated how bad Mastriano is.
Yeah, very bad.
Very
bad. Not good.
Very
Negative outcome.
Like,
I do want to kind of point out something interesting here, though, as we kind of get into election night. Dave McCormick is certainly slightly overperforming some of my expectations in South Central Pennsylvania. If I'm going to bring this up here from here, and these I have been told these are some election day votes. But this is the Senate race here. We see Barnett doing well in some of around Mastriano land here. But, we see Oz winning again. And again, some of these counties, we're seeing some election day results here in some of these counties. This is still I believe it is still mostly mail-ins. around South Central Pennsylvania, but I think McCormick's certainly doing slightly better around that area than I previously expected him to be doing. We'll see how that changes, but he's certainly doing slightly better around my home area of South Central Pennsylvania than I originally had expected.
Yes. I have maybe a stupid question.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the reporting results, like the estimated amount in. For District 12, it says 70% in, but that vote total seems incredibly small, and I think I've read that there's like another 100,000.
It says estimates, so this is just an estimated number that could potentially change from DDHQ.
Okay, I wasn't sure because it just that seemed like a very low number for 70%.
That's very understandable.
But no, McCormick is overperforming.
Like I said, I'm decently surprised with how he's doing, even though it's absentee votes. I'm decently surprised he's currently holding up right now in parts of South Central Pennsylvania right now. That's for sure.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to win.
I don't think so either, but he's certainly holding up better than I expected previously.
Yes, and Kathy Barnett is doing worse than I anticipated. A lot of that can probably be attributed to her late surge, and the early votes probably wouldn't reflect that, but still, I would have expected her to be doing a little better.
Yeah, so Eric, I think we're going to try and shift a bit more of the focus as well over here to the 11th district in North Carolina.
Yeah, how's Cawthorn holding up?
Give me 1 second here. I'm checking something real quick.
No problem. While we're waiting, Mastriano expands his lead 31-19.
Oh boy. Oh joy.
Barletta's doing really well in the Northeast, Susquehanna, Wayne.
Well, that's his home area.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but that's probably not helping McSwain.
I would guess not.
So right now, DDHQ is saying Cawthorn needs to win 55 to 70% of remaining projected votes to win the race. He's not doing that right now. The race is about a 1900 right now it's about let me exactly calculate the exact number here for you guys. 1,960 vote margin right now for Chuck Edwards. Cawthorn is up 2,000 in the election day vote, but he's down, like we said, 3,600 or so, 3,800 with the absentee voting. So basically, right now, the counties that are all in, Cherokee County is all in, Graham County is all in, Macon County is almost entirely in. Madison County has 2 precincts left. Rutherford is all in. Polk is almost all in. Transylvania County, which is Edwards' strongest county right now, he's pulling 49.6% of the vote here. That's all in. Henderson County, 20 of 35 precincts in. And then Buncombe County, 52 of 80 precincts in. Those are the 3 Edwards counties. That's where I think the brunt of the vote is left. So if DDHQ is correct, 95% of the vote in, then I don't see really a path for Edwards. If it's like what some others are saying, which I believe is 75%, or if you assume there's more votes left than are right now, it's more doable for Cawthorn. But if DDHQ is correct, I don't see Cawthorn getting 70% of the votes that are left right now. That's not reasonable.
Mm-hmm. No, I tend to agree.
Yeah, it's getting harder to see Cawthorn win tonight. But in bad news, it seems almost certain that Doug Mastriano is going to be the Republican candidate for governor out in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, look,
we'll be moving that race to Lean's Democratic with soon-to-be immediate effect.
Yeah, look, I like chaos, but Mastriano is legitimately dangerous.
Again, like re-registering all voters All of them, all voters.
and not accepting the popular vote of Pennsylvania, maybe. That's not,
Mhm.
and maybe
Now, to be
liking
fair-
martial law.
To be fair, there have been gubernatorial candidates in recent memory that have refused the result of election outcomes. Let's just put it that way. So he's not entirely alone in that regard. But I don't know any other gubernatorial candidate that's like, we need to re-register all votes, and is also going to do a QAnon conference, and is also
And-
showing up with 9/11 conspiracy stuff. It's
And
not
also
good.
kind
Not good.
of, and also
That's never good.
kind of liked the idea of declaring martial law.
Yeah,
Like,
retweeted it.
yeah, not good. I would like to hope that Josh Shapiro wins that race, but it's a wave year. I can't assume.
So we're still waiting in for continued election day votes in Pennsylvania.
We do have some more results in for the Senate race. Oz shrinks the margin a little more, 32-27. Mastriano up 34-20.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, Barletta in second, McSwain back down in third. I'm endlessly amused that Melissa Hart has 7% of the vote despite dropping out.
This is what we get. You get what you bleeping deserve.
When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
What are you talking about? Actions having consequences.
Actions have consequences? No. That's not a thing.
So, since we have a lot of time to kill, I am kind of curious, but this is kind of a joke question as well. What kind of campaign do we think Fetterman's going to run?
That's a good question.
Like, because there are a lot of ways he could go. He's already kind of moderated. And Connor Lamb tried to pin him with the socialist label. And either because of his own inept messaging or because of the big dude effect, it hasn't stuck. So, question to both of you: what kind of campaign do you expect from Fetterman?
I don't know. I think that's the best answer I can give.
I think the pivotal thing we're looking for here is the Smash Mouth endorsement. I think that's going to be a big factor for Fetterman.
Okay, unironically though, if Fetterman and Smash Mouth start campaigning together, might be the best thing to happen in the next couple of years.
I really don't know. Fetterman is clearly very liberal. He's very, very out of.
He is very liberal, but I think I know you laugh at the whole big dude thing. I do unironically think that he has a very non-lefty aesthetic that will help him. Yes, it is kind of the big dude effect. I look forward to running a sumo wrestler at some point.
Like, there's the health issues that we don't know how that will impact anything. The Republican candidates are comparatively far more moderate and appealing to voters a lot than Fetterman. Like, you can have big dude all you want if the guy's running on Green New Deal, Medicare for all, but unlimited abortion access through
Barnett is more in touch.
Well, if it's Oz or McCormick, and it looks, I don't think it looks like there's Barnett momentum going on right now. If it's Oz or McCormick, then I think they have a far more credible path to the middle. Obviously Barnett's and then there's also the incident, which we've discussed multiple times, that Fetterman has, that will come up. If there's depressed turnout among Black voters, that's a problem. That is a big problem.
Fetterman does need to have an answer for that. Beyond it's in the past, you need to have I like Fetterman a lot, but he needs to have a better answer. Honestly, his best answer is, yes, it was a mistake, but the guy is also supporting me.
That is true.
That is a very fair and valid answer. It was a mistake, and the guy I made the mistake with is supporting me. I don't know why he just doesn't say that.
Well, that's a good question. That's a very good question, Dylan. So we are
Oh,
continuing to see live election day vote come in here in Pennsylvania.
we just actually got some more
Mhm.
results.
We did. Dylan, could you give us a little rundown, please?
McCormick 32, Oz ticking up again to 27.8, and Kathy Barnett ticking up to 22.3. I feel like I should stop talking about the governor's race because Mastriano expands his lead 36 to 20.
Bad.
People get what you get what you deserve.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah, that's what you get when you all have massive egos and don't drop out and coalesce. I'm sorry, Joe. This is
No, Joe.
going to be a bad night.
I have a question for you, Joe.
Go ahead.
So why is Carla Sands? Carla Sands was endorsed by literally a zillion ambassadors. Why is she only in 5th place?
Do people
Because
care about
The
ambassadors?
surprising thing, Eric, is that ambassadors, surprisingly, people don't know who they are.
Ambassadors
Thanks.
make money and they go to exotic places.
Well,
Well,
no. The answer is they give money and then they go to exotic places. That's
Yes.
the real key.
They
Yes.
give money to get some.
Yeah, see,
Exactly.
this is and I'm glad the strategy is not working because you had two people. You had Carla Sands, who was convinced that you could do this into a Senate candidacy, and then you had what's her name in Alabama, Linda Blanchard, whatever she wants to call herself now, who was just running the governor primary there. It's like you should not be able to just give money and get an ambassadorship and then run for office. I think that's stupid and dumb, and I'm glad it's not working.
No, it's not.
Ooh, we got more. Ooh, Edwards actually expands his lead here with the latest votes in.
Look, I know we can't call it, but pack it up. It's done.
Yeah.
Hawthorne's
So
out.
right now, 202 of 275 precincts in. Edwards leads Cawthorn by 1,800 votes. We got 7 of 15 counties completely reported. So we've got Cherokee County reported, Graham, Swain County, 3 really strong Cawthorn counties. Rutherford and Polk County reporting. Haywood is almost done. Transylvania is almost done. Henderson has 5 precincts left. Buncombe still has 38. Basically, the majority of precincts left are from Buncombe County. And right now in Buncombe County, Edwards is leading by 14 points, and on election day, he's leading by 140 votes. So I don't see a path for Cawthorn here. I could be wrong. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. Okay, I get to eat crow on one.
Maybe we'll wait until the official call. But again, 31% for a sitting congressman.
Not good.
Oof.
And the race just keeps tightening. Oz gets closer and closer to beating McCormick.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be much of a geographic vote here.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see as it develops on the night, of course.
Right, but so far,
There's
that's all
certainly. I mean, we certainly see signs of it in the governor's race a little bit with Barletta in the Northeast. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. No, you see it there, but so far, at least, not in the Senate race.
That's very true.
Oops, I'm sorry. I was about to say we have more results out of PA 12, but we don't.
Okay.
I think you should just accept that by the time a majority of votes from Pennsylvania are in, all of North Carolina will have reported. Because
That's probably true. I'm very saddened by that.
That is unequivocally true.
I don't want to crap too much on Pennsylvania's voting system, but
No,
gosh,
please do. It's not very good.
You
Yeah.
gotta fix this. You really gotta fix this. Come on.
And I don't know who
can do better.
will.
Here's an idea. I have a couple ideas we can start out with. One is you count all the early votes first, and then you report them first. That's just a good idea. You start out immediately, have all the early votes counted. We do that in North Carolina.
Mhm.
Then you count the election day votes. and you count this quickly. I think those are two really good ideas. You should really consider those. Could improve the quality of the election reporting system. Could also reduce the stupidity of the late ballots coming in Democratic. We don't have that here. All the early ballots come in first, and so you don't have the people that are like, oh, the late ballots came in and they all voted for Democrats. Well, no, the late ballots all come in and they vote for Republicans. So I mean, it's really hard to get those conspiracy people on board with anything because the late breaking votes, they reported as they came in.
Yep.
We have the mail votes pre-counted. We report them. We report the election day votes as they by precinct. It's really good. It's a good system. No reason Pennsylvania can't do this. It's a big state. So is North Carolina. We got rural areas. They're all reporting. Clay County, actually Graham County, North Carolina, Cherokee County is literally in another state's media market. It's not even connected to any media market in North Carolina. All their votes are in 2 hours, less than 2 hours. That's really good. You should be able to do that.
Yeah.
I would agree. This applies to New York, California. You can do this too. It's not that hard.
Not hard at all.
Not hard at all, indeed.
We do have some more votes in for Pennsylvania 12. Summerlee ticks up a little bit from 31 to 32%. Steve Irwin under 50%.
Wow.
So that one's tightening, but not by enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
It's worth noting here that it has that portion of Westmoreland County, which has no business being in the Pittsburgh seat, and Steve Irwin is winning that 63-19.
Yes.
That's only a 2,300 vote margin, but this is a close race. He's only winning the Allegheny portion 48-34.
Yes.
That could matter. That could legitimately matter.
No, that will matter.
Yeah. Frankly, the thing that offended me most about this map was the Westmoreland and PA. It made no sense. It made no sense whatsoever. But, it's part of the map, and maybe it's going to keep Summerlee out. We'll see.
Yep.
And already Bob Casey and Joe Biden out with endorsements for John Fetterman. Not a surprise.
Yep. You're still waiting for continued election day results in from Pennsylvania. As we continue to go on to the night, we have Decision Desk HQ saying about 27% of the vote is in the Senate race. Dave McCormick has a lead there of around 32-29 over Dr. Oz, with Kathy Barnett in third with around 22%.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Big batch of votes in MPA 12.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Summerlee's back in the race.
Definitely. Look at that.
She down by 10 points, 46-36.
Yeah.
That batch that came in for her came in nearly 2-1. She got 9,000 votes versus Irwin's 5,000 votes. If she keeps up that margin, she will win. I don't know if she can keep up that margin, but if she does, she's going to win this. Those election day votes are staggeringly pro her. More than I expected. Eric's smiling, which means I think Hawthorne is done.
No, nothing. It's just I posted a meme in the group chat.
Oh.
Sometimes I wish we could show the group chat while we're on here. The group chat is fun on election night.
That's very true.
We say all the things we can't say on the stream.
But yeah, 1,700 votes left in NC 11. Right now, all of Cherokee, Graham, Swain, Transylvania, Polk, Rutherford, and Macon counties. All those are in. 35 precincts left, 5 of them from Henderson. All from Buncombe. That's interesting. All Buncombe County is in.
So all of Buncombe is in? I mean, that's
what it looks like.
That is, I think, Edwards' most favorable populous county left. So
Yes, aside from
every,
Henderson.
everything left should theoretically be Cawthorn. This is going to be
Possibly,
close, but
yes.
this is an embarrassing result for Cawthorn
Yeah,
regardless.
he's at 31.5% of the vote. That's again, if we had the 35% threshold, this would definitely be going to a runoff.
Yeah,
We have
that's
the 30% threshold.
Yeah, if this were going to a runoff, Cawthorn would be dead in the water.
Yeah.
Bless you. Thank you. Yeah, he's got 35 precincts to make up a 1,700 vote deficit. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, really.
It's sarcasm.
Margin okay, the margin is closing, but it seems like McCormick is expanding his vote lead somehow.
I think that's because Barnett really hasn't grown a whole lot.
From
what I can tell.
About 8,000 votes, 32-29 on Oz.
That's because we're starting to see more of Western PA come in election day vote. It looks like.
Look,
if you highlight some of the counties, we've got a good portion of them coming in here.
I'm not very good at knowing the.
Wow, apparently Lebanon County is all in Lancaster, and McCormick only lost that to Oz by about 60 votes.
Where's Lebanon County?
That is South Central. That's the county right above Lancaster County.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow. That's actually a very good result for McCormick.
Yeah.
I don't think McCormick's going
24%.
I don't think McCormick's going to win, but that's a good result. He's not embarrassing himself, certainly. That's not the 11% margin Susquehanna had him at.
No.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Any idea why Oz is doing really good around Lackawanna, around the Scranton area?
Oh, that's Trump land, Eric. I mean, those are
they're going to go
brought in by Trump. You know, that's
they're going
to like him a lot.
Another result, more results in Oz 29.5, McCormick 32. So it's just tightening.
Yeah. Again, here we apparently, according to DDHQ, Perry County is almost in South Central Pennsylvania. And Dave McCormick won that one 28.6 to 25 over Oz. So I think we're definitely seeing, at least I think by my baselines, I think we're seeing McCormick overperform in southeast Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. Do I want to know the Mastriano?
I mean, these are counties that Mastriano won by big margins, but we've got maybe this is something to bring up here now. Are we potentially seeing a scenario where Barnett and Oz's vote split enough in certain key areas that potentially it could lead to a McCormick victory?
No, I still don't think. If I wouldn't be comfortable with a 2-point lead if I were McCormick. It's only 30. It's only 30% in. It's a lot in from his favorable areas. Philadelphia still only has about 2,000 votes in.
Mm-hmm.
3,000 maybe. And Oz is winning there. So I think it's too early to proclaim vote splitting saved McCormick.
That's totally fair.
So far, this feels like Matt Dolan in Ohio.
Yeah.
Does anyone want a miscellaneous North Carolina election?
Sure, go ahead, Eric.
All right, judicial elections, North Carolina, we have judicial elections. So there are some primaries going on, in particular for some judges on the Republican side. There, particularly Donna Stroud, was really facing a lot of, let me just check to make sure here, because so Donna Stroud was facing a lot of criticism for some perceived votes as a judge against Republican positions. She's leading comfortably by 17 points. So that's pretty big news. There's some other associate justices seat up, and then there's the Supreme Court seats up. But that's the big one, is this Stroud versus Freshwater Smith race, which is probably a good win for judicial independence, because really the only thing opposition I've seen to Donna Stroud on the Republican side was that she voted against a Republican clerk of court or something stupid along that line.
That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Can you maybe explain more why that is?
So, obviously, the Court of Appeals, Republicans have a majority right now. And in particular, for some reason, people were really keying in on Donna Stroud as like a weak link on the Court of Appeals. We have judicial races. We have them partisan, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that voters know the parties, and I think it's a good thing they have that. But there was a lot of people, Phil Berger Jr. in particular, who was really getting involved here, pushing for Beth Freshwater Smith instead of Donna Stroud, who's the incumbent. She's the chief judge of the Court of Appeals, in fact. There's been a lot of money spent here. It's really, really weird, though. It seems particularly like a Berger Jr., who's not the Senate leader, but the Supreme Court, Phil Berger. That was really, really unusual for how this had happened and why it had happened. So I think it's a good thing, though. If this holds, I voted for Stroud. I didn't.
Can I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do have
right
some
ahead.
results for PA 12.
Go ahead.
For Westmoreland County, the election day votes are in, or some of them. Irwin did win them, but by a lot less. He won 45-30 in the 7 election day precincts that are in, versus a 69-18 early vote lead. So not great, but that's the type of improvement you'd want to see if you're her right now. That's a 30-point that's a nearly 30-point close. That's what you want to see if you're Summerlee. I don't think she was ever going to win Westmoreland County, but if she can win it, if she can lose it by 15 instead of by 50, that's what you want to see.
We
Sorry,
got
I didn't mean to
additional
cut you
precincts
off.
in for. Sorry, no, that's all good. That really, it's just an interesting race to look at, because this was this proxy fight between really conservative Republican justices and then Donna Stroud for some reason. I'm still not sure why they went after her, but there seemed to be some specific complaints about her voting as a judge, and I'm not too inclined to agree with that sort of thing. 25 precincts left in North Carolina, 11. 5 of them in Henderson, 6 counties left. Chuck Edwards holds a 1,600 vote lead, about 2 percentage points in vote. We're still waiting for official calls. We're still waiting for that sort of stuff. All of Buncombe in, all of Henderson, or all of Transylvania in. The remaining counties left are Henderson, which Chuck Edwards is winning by right now about 17 points. Jackson County has 6 precincts left. That's one that he's winning. Cawthorn's winning by 16 points. Haywood, he's winning that by about 5 points. That has 6 precincts left. Madison, which he's winning by 6, has about 1 precinct. Or has one, not about 1 precinct. Has 1 precinct left. McDowell has 3. Cawthorn's winning by 16 points. I really don't see a path for Cawthorn here. I really think this is basically it. I mean, unless the Henderson votes go really weird, and Edwards is winning the election day vote by 700 votes, 3,100 to 2,400. I really think this is probably the end for Cawthorn.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is it. We do have more results in on the Senate side for Republicans. Same story. Oz ticks up 29.6, McCormick 32.1. What I do find interesting, though, is that Oz doesn't seem to be winning many counties by big margins. He's winning in Philadelphia by about 200 votes. He's winning Franklin County by about 80 votes, it looks like, over Barnett, 1,000 votes over McCormick. He's not winning anywhere big. So that's not ideal for him. Yeah, but I agree. I don't think Cawthorn has a path. I think he's done.
And what does this say about, North Carolina Republicans, for one? I mean, it seems like the general interest for North Carolina Republicans is to nominate normal conservatives. And it's worth noting, when Cawthorn ran in 2020, he ran as a very aggressively normal candidate.
Eric, we
okay.
have a call.
Oh, we have a call?
It's one we've been waiting for and expecting, and one that makes me feel very much pain. But Decision Desk HQ is now called controversial state senator and election denier Doug Mastriano as the GOP nominee for governor in Pennsylvania. Elections Daily will now be moving the Pennsylvania gubernatorial race to leans Democratic. As a result of that, Mastriano was the worst candidate that Republicans could nominate, arguably, in Pennsylvania. He has a lot of different issues, and it certainly feels like that Pennsylvania will be potentially blowing another governor's race in a Republican wave year. It certainly seems to be potentially tracking towards that cause.
Y'all do that a lot. Well, hey, I guess all I can say for you guys is you haven't blown the Senate race.
No, I don't know. I mean, we're still waiting for a lot of election day vote to come in here, but I don't know if Barnett has some of the numbers up in the northeast and south central parts, and some of the central parts too, even.
I feel like we would have, if she had any chance, I feel like we would have seen her tick up by now.
Yeah, she's kind of hovered around 22% for the most part.
Yeah, like who knows? Maybe she does, but I don't see it right now.
Yeah.
But we are in PA 12. We are now in territory where Jerry Dickinson, who ran last time as a progressive against Mike
Jerry.
Yeah, we could see him now play the spoiler because the difference is about 10%, and Dickinson is coming in with 11%.
No good for Jerry.
So Jerry might be playing the spoiler here, but there are a lot of votes left, and Lee is crushing those election day results.
So how will you feel if the Gerald Dickinson vote keeps Summerlee out as a progressive? That seems like something the left is kind of prone to doing from time to time.
I was literally about to say I will feel frustratingly normal because that is very on brand for us.
It's the Monty Python sketch, and I mean, it really is. That's the only thing you need to explain the political left.
Look, I'm not saying I know everything, but can somebody let me in those strategy rooms? Because I feel like I have things to say. They may not be smart things, but they're different things.
Yeah, it's starting to feel, I do want to say, folks, it is starting to feel like Kathy Barnett's path is becoming increasingly limited.
Yeah.
We have about 39, 38, and her margin really hasn't moved a whole lot. She is doing well in Berks, but with some of the early vote right now, but not by a margin that would totally start really moving it for her.
I do think it's odd, and I want to get your opinion, Joe. I think it's odd that the margin keeps shrinking, but McCormick has kept that 8,000 vote gap for a very long time now.
Yeah, that just kind of sometimes it's the way the votes come in, like we're seeing, like I said, this is the problem with Pennsylvania counting is that we continue to have we don't know what elections are going on right now. Like we don't know what's coming in. Like we have really kind of not a whole lot of idea of what's coming in right now. And that's a problem.
That is a problem.
I think understandably, I think, rational people would look at that and say, that seems like a bad decision. I don't know about the rest of you. That feels like a bad decision to me.
Yeah, more results in McCormick actually expands his lead slightly. All right, good for him. Oh, and that's the first time Mastriano has gone down in percentage over the night. He's back below 40%.
He's 80% of the vote in Franklin County. Good God.
That's insanity.
Well, it's insanity is nominating him for governor to begin with.
Well, yes, obviously.
Yeah, bad night.
I was having a bad night, but I'm feeling slightly better about Summerlee, so I'm feeling slightly better about the whole night.
Look, we knew this was going to happen. To be fair, Joe, we knew this was going to happen. Let's just watch the Senate and be glad that we got bad. We may have got bad guy. We're probably not getting bad lady. So that's one of
I
two.
guess that's good.
I am sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Not just sorry for you. I am sorry for us all, because if Mastriano wins the race, I think it is fair to say that increases the odds of
Dumb shit.
a president being elected who did not win the Electoral College. I think that increases the chances, and that's kind of scary.
That's very true.
Big news. North Carolina 11, 20 precincts left. All of Henderson County is reported. Edwards still leads by 1,600 votes. There are 20 precincts left.
Yeah, Cawthorn needs a miracle.
He needs to basically do as well in these 20 precincts as he did in his best county.
Yep.
I mean, not impossible, but incredibly unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
And embarrassing either way.
Oh, 10 precincts left. And the margin is now 1,400, or 10 precincts left. The margin is, wow, yeah, this isn't going to happen. They're going to have to call this soon. This is over.
Can you show us it on the stream, please, Eric? Can you please put it up on the stream?
Yeah, give us some happiness.
10 precincts left. Edwards leads by 1,657 votes. 10 precincts left. I don't see how Cawthorn pulls this out.
I don't see it. Is Edwards below 30%?
No, he's at around 33%, I believe.
Yep, I would expect a call to be imminent.
Yeah.
Any moment.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Eric and Joe can attest to this. I do find it unfortunate, and I always find it unfortunate, when a bad politician's career is ended by a sex scandal instead of the bad things they do. Eric can attest. I have been consistent on this. I never like it. It's always unfortunate. He's done so many bad things. Can we be mad at him for those and not weird videos that get leaked?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question.
I mean, look, as a Republican in North Carolina, I am pretty thrilled that we get Cawthorn out.
Look,
Yeah, I want to hear more from you, Eric. It looks like Madison Cawthorn is out. I want your opinion.
He made mistakes. He goofed. He had a chance to actually be a significant person of influence in the party. And instead of that, he decided to clown around and just make a complete mockery of the office. He deserved this. It was coming. I wish it was by a bigger margin, but I mean, he deserved it. I hope he can turn his life around. I mean, but it really, I mean, he really deserved this. The thing that bothered me was moving districts. That's what bothered me more than anything. It's offensive to the people who live in that district, who live in the 11th district. They need representation.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm happy with whatever gets Cawthorn out of the way. Would have liked it to be something else, but I'll take it. It's a win.
A win is a win.
A win is a win.
Unless you're a Democrat, in which case you wouldn't actually have wanted Cawthorn to not win, because then you could fundraise off of this election.
No, I'm a Democrat. I'm kind of happy. Cawthorn's a ghoul. I don't like fundraising off of elections we're not going to win.
There's certainly something to be said for that. That's for sure.
But yeah, I think like seriously, what this proved is he was not ready to be a
So-
congressman. Was just not ready for it.
Some drama actually in North Carolina, apparently, in the Senate race. Pat McCrory not endorsing Ted Budd.
What?
Saying he was canceled.
Okay.
Interesting. That's an odd choice.
What was he? He canceled what?
He was canceled by the state party, I guess, by Trump.
He was
the
canceled by
voter-
someone.
Canceled by the voters.
I guess.
Those are the people who should cancel you.
Okay. Well, that's something.
That's something, I guess. Don't forget, apparently Kathy Barnett's not gonna endorse either Oz or McCormick either. And it very, as I will say, folks, it's starting to very much look like that. Kathy Barnett will
No.
not be able to pull it off. We're just not seeing it here in terms of vote margin. She's gained a little bit as election day has come in, but we're just not really seeing it for her. It's mostly stayed relatively stable for her around 22.5, 23 percentage points.
Mhm.
You know, it's just not looking like it's going to happen tonight for Barnett, quite honestly.
No, I don't see it. In honor of Madison Cawthorn being defeated and falling out of office, I would like to say the coke orgies were real.
I have a tweet ready to go the moment this race is called.
Send it in the chat. I want to
I'm not going to
see.
say I don't want anyone else to leak it. I think this is great. I'm going to put it in the Elections Daily chat though.
That's what I meant. The election. I don't want to stream it here. I want to see it before it goes out, but don't piss off Tom Tillis. That's the lesson.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me do math. Okay, nope, never mind. Math, I'm bad. That's good. That's very good, Eric. It's very good.
That was very good, Eric. Good job. Good job, sir.
I think the only thing that was better was what happened right after, if you check.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, pull the chat up here. Again, we're still waiting for DDHQ to call. DDHQ is making the calls around here.
I believe it.
Oz is shrinking the margin down from 10,000 votes to a 9,000 vote margin, both above 30%.
Mhm.
Barnett behind about 33,000 votes behind Oz.
Yeah.
Carla Sands is just sitting back there down at over 100,000 votes. Like, hello.
Goodbye, Carla.
Goodbye, Carla. Goodbye, Jeff Bartos.
Goodbye, Jeff Bartos.
Jake Corman is so far down the list, I don't even see him.
That's a rip. That's a rip.
That's a rip. Oh wait, no. Jake Corman was for governor, not Senate.
Yeah, he was for governor.
Okay, no, he's still there. He's at 2%. Melissa Hart still at 5% because that makes sense.
Bad.
Very bad. Very dub.
See, I'm going to respond to this. The chat. You can't just show us the funny memes. Check my Twitter. I just posted it.
We can just not show you the funny memes though. We can. And we do frequently. We're just not usually so open about laughing at them.
That's
We usually try to hide it.
You got to put the link to your tweet in the chat, Eric. Just got to do it. Oh, Dylan, you want to check PH Wall for me, buddy?
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, wow, that's a lot of votes in. Okay. Steve Irwin, 43.5, Summerlee, 39%, with an estimated 95% reporting. I don't know how accurate that estimate is because I'm expecting quite a few more votes than that. We were expecting, I think, a little more than 100,000 votes. We're currently only at about 70,000.
Mm-hmm.
If that 95% number is true, then the race has gone to Irwin. If it's only like 80% or even 90%, I kind of like Summerlee's odds. She's winning by quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's close. She did better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the night. And Oz just can't seem to get past that 9,000 vote margin.
No.
It's starting to feel like this is McCormick's win.
Well, I'm not going to say that yet. For sure.
I'm not going to say it either, but it's starting to feel that way. So it's about 78,000 votes in. About 4,000 votes separate Summerlee and Steve Irwin. Let's see how many of those votes are in Allegheny. So most of the votes left are in Westmoreland, which you would think would be bad for Summerlee, but she also closed the margin significantly there in the first batch of election day votes. So I don't think she's out of it, but I just don't know if there are enough votes there.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. So I guess we should get an update here for the Republican Party race for Senate in Pennsylvania. Dave McCormick has about a 2% lead over Dr. Oz right now. He leads with 32.2% till Oz is 30.3% right now, with about 45% of the vote estimated in right now currently for those candidates. Again, it is certainly starting to feel more and more like it is very much a Oz McCormick race. Again, it kind of feels like Kathy Barnett continues to kind of slip down the level here. So sorry, folks. I know we're kind of getting down to it. We're getting into our last hour now here. We're going to, of course, cut off the stream at 11 o'clock tonight, but we're getting into our last hour here of the election.
So 348 precincts remain in Allegheny versus 77 in Westmoreland. in PA 12. So remains to be seen if that's enough.
Yeah.
The call is going to be imminent for NC 11, 6 precincts left, 1,600 vote margin. It's over. It is over.
Yeah, Cawthorn's done. I mean,
and all Chuck Edwards needed was the 3 counties he represents in the state legislature.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. Who would have thunk? I just saw what the group chat changed its name to.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Oh,
what I did? Yes.
Oh.
So again, folks, we're getting certainly closer and closer here in the night. Continuing to.
We have another dump.
Yep. We are about 47% of the vote in, according to DDHQ again. McCormick 32, Oz 30, Barnett 23.
I also met in PA 12. Sorry.
Go ahead, Eric. Eric. Go ahead, Dylan.
Nope, not Eric. 43.3 to 39.6 with 92% reporting. About a 3,000 vote margin. Summerlee shrunk the margin by another 1,000 votes. 94% in Allegheny. Summerlee only behind by 0.6%, another 1,000 votes, and Westmoreland 72% in. It looks. Maybe I'm wrong, and I could be wrong. Joe, I don't know if you have any way to check.
What are you looking for?
Is DDHQ's Westmoreland County behind? I think they're behind.
It does look like it compared to other sources.
Because their percentage keeps going up.
Compared to other sources, it is not down right now.
Okay, because the percentage keeps going up, but it hasn't seemed like the vote totals changed.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Just the North Carolina thing.
I was going to say, given the shrinking of the margin down another 1,000 votes, I'd feel really good if I'm Summerlee right now. I think she'll barely eke it.
We have it. We have a call, folks, and we're going to officially confirm it now. What we've been waiting for a while. Here's the news that's going to make a couple of people here happy. Chuck Edwards, the state senator from Buncombe, Henderson, and Transylvania counties, has officially defeated Madison Cawthorn. We are projecting here at DDHQ. We're sorry to be a bit late on that, but we are officially projecting Madison Cawthorn falls in his primary to Chuck Edwards. Chuck Edwards will be the Republican candidate here. Madison Cawthorn loses his primary race tonight. He will not be the Republican nominee for North Carolina. He is the second incumbent to lose a race today and is the first Trump-endorsed House candidate to lose his primary of the cycle.
Wait, second incumbent to lose today? Oh,
first.
Okay. Also,
I can officially share this meme now.
Hooray!
Hey!
I never thought I'd cheer for Tom Tillis. Hopefully that's the last time. That made me feel a little icky.
I saw the best tweet I've heard of this is that I'm sure Madison Cawthorn will present himself in a dignified and respectful manner in the last 7 months of his congressional term.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys know what you've done. You've unleashed him. He has no incentive to be normal, and this was him being normal.
Have you seen Doctor Strange? Have you seen Doctor Strange too?
I haven't.
I
haven't. Go ahead and spoil it. I've heard so much.
Yeah. So at one point, Wanda is like, "This is me being reasonable." This is the last.
Okay, I don't know anything about this movie. Well, I know a lot about this movie.
She's the bad guy.
I highly doubt Wanda's being reasonable. Yeah.
No, she's the bad. Yeah. No, her definition of being reasonable is rather than melting people. She just sends monsters after people. This is the Madison Cawthorn. His definition of being reasonable is the cocaine orgies.
So
unreasonable.
I would like to. I would just like to go to PA 12 again for a moment.
Go ahead.
there were a couple Westmoreland County drops that gave Irwin a couple hundred votes. We still have 300 precincts out of Allegheny and 77 out of Westmoreland. Iffy.
That's for sure.
That one's going to be a lot like the Cawthorn race. It's going to come down to a couple hundred votes.
Mm-hmm. Although, do you want actually another close North Carolina race?
Go
Sure.
ahead.
7th Congressional District, the Democrat running for the right to lose to David Rouser in the general election. Currently, Charles Graham is down 31.5 to 31.3, 68% of the vote in. Charles Graham is the anti-abortion Democrat, conservative Lumbee Democrat from Robeson County, who has since basically renounced everything he believed in to get progressive votes. And it's not seeming to work.
So, yeah. So I'm not going to cry for an anti-abortion Democrat who's about to lose to a Republican. I'm not going to cry for him. But in Allegheny County and PA 12, sorry, that's really the only race I'm focusing on right now because I need happiness in my life. That's about half of the that's about half the precincts there. And she's cleaning house on the election day votes there. I don't know that she's the favorite, but given that the territory left is more favorable to her and there's a lot more of it, I feel pretty comfortable saying she's got a decent chance that she didn't have 2 hours ago. Yeah, I'm not going to cry for Charles Graham. I saw that ad. It was a good ad, but he's also pro-life and I believe he's anti-trans kids in school.
He voted for the bathroom bill, yeah.
Yeah, not going to cry for him.
Yeah. So, Dylan, I'm just kind of, I want to just kind of hear you continue to talk here about PA 12 here and kind of what continue, like, seeing what your thoughts are and, like, how important do you think this would be for a progressive to kind of finally get a win tonight if this is able to happen for Democrats, for them?
So progressives desperately need a win. Nina Turner was a race progressives thought they were going to win for a very long time. And to be fair, they were going to win for a very long time. Shontel Brown came in with a lot of money and didn't really get any response from the Turner campaign. There was some, but there wasn't as much pushback as there maybe could have been. So that loss there really rattled progressives, I think. And then the second loss last couple weeks ago was very bad for progressives. The Nita Alam loss is unfortunate, and she deserved better than being left out in the cold. But a Summer Lee win vindicates that strategy. Instead of leaving two progressives out to dry, put all your eggs in one basket and hope that that one wins. If Summer Lee were to lose, then it feels like we put Nita Alam to the side for nothing. And she didn't get pushed to the side so much as the outside money came against her and the outside money from progressives didn't come for her. And that's not ideal. But I get it on strategy. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So
no, it's totally reasonable.
Yeah, it's a very reasonable strategy. So a Summer Lee win would very much vindicate that strategy.
And ironically, like I said, I really hate the way PA 12 is drawn. If it was drawn correctly with everything in Allegheny, this would not be a race right now.
No, she'd win. She'd win.
Yeah, she would win. Yeah, right now she's winning 41.8% to 41.2% in Allegheny, but she's getting swamped in more moderate or specifically conservative Westmoreland.
No, she's still losing Allegheny by 0.6.
According to DDH, I guess maybe DDH she's behind. Yeah, you're right, by 0.6. In Allegheny, she's losing 62 to 20.
Yeah, in Westmoreland, she's losing by a lot. In her to be fair, there are a lot of precincts out in Allegheny, so that could be the margin she needs. But putting Westmoreland in here feels like a very odd way to draw it. If you're trying to draw a Pittsburgh-based seat, putting Westmoreland in doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know. I don't know anything about geography. I don't know the geography of my own state, let alone Pennsylvania. The Republican Governors Association has endorsed Mastriano.
Oh dear.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're the Republican Governors Association, so
I mean,
Kind of has to, but
they
still.
could
they would endorse
not.
they would endorse a bowl of fruit as the Republican nominee.
A
I'm
bowl of
pretty
fruit
sure.
would be less offensive and probably get a higher percentage of the vote. A bowl of fruit has less things to attack it on. A bowl of fruit won't do a coup.
A bowl of fruit won't cheer on potentially leading the martial law.
Yeah, a bowl of fruit wouldn't have gone to a 9/11 QAnon rally and accepted a medal. I like the bowl of fruit. Can I vote for the bowl of fruit?
The only thing a bowl of fruit would be unable to do better than Doug Mastriano is speak in complete sentences, and even that is a little bit of a question.
But do you really need to speak in complete sentences in an R-wave year? In fact, Doug Mastriano's complete sentences might hurt him more in an R-wave year than the bowl of fruit's silence.
So I do want to give a quick update here. Lancaster County, my home county, has had another MAR with ballots. About 16,000 mail-in ballots will have to be remarked to ballots onto new ones with scannable barcodes because the barcodes that they got were not right from the vendor they got. So around 16,000 mail-in ballots from Lancaster County will have to be remarked. It could take the whole week potentially. Obviously, probably most of those are Democratic ballots, but if this becomes a tighter race between McCormick and Oz, especially if McCormick is doing continually better in the early absentee vote, that could be something that becomes crucial.
I gotta say, I know it's only 54% reporting. I like McCormick's odds. The vote's not narrowing. He's holding a steady 9,000 vote lead. I mean, this is a very good result for him. I think what it'll come down to, it looks to me, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks to me like the McCormick counties are the ones that have mostly reported by now.
Yeah, a lot of early reporting has been done, but that didn't sound like it at all. But really, kind of, I think the area to watch right now is southeastern Pennsylvania and parts of Lehigh Valley. Most of the stuff to the west of Dauphin County and Harrisburg has been reported in right now. For the most part, there's still some areas that are still kind of out there, but for the most part around the past Harrisburg, we've seen the votes counted. That probably does mean we probably see Lou Barletta potentially, or at least likelihood that we see Mastriano's lead, I think, shrink a little bit potentially. As I think some of these southeastern PA counties might be a little bit less favorable to him than some of the other ones, but we'll see, of course. But that is something to consider there potentially.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mastriano's a nominee, but we could see him shrink closer to the 40% as the northeastern, more Barletta favored counties right now continue to come in and count their votes.
So, according to Dallas Woodhouse, sources have told Carolina Journal that Madison Cawthorn has officially conceded to Chuck Edwards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not even going to challenge it.
I'm actually surprised by that. And it seems, according to Dave Wasserman, that the PA 12 reporting number isn't 92%, as Decision Desk has it, it's 78%.
That's different.
Okay.
That's a big
That-
difference.
different.
That's a very big difference. That's the type of difference that gets Summerlee over the finish line versus one
Yes.
that doesn't.
But I just like this headline from Laura Bassett on Twitter, saying that
You
it's a
saw that
warning
too.
shot to any member who wants to speak out about cocaine and orgies.
Oh, I do find it endlessly entertaining that Cawthorn could have won if he just hadn't said the first true thing of his career.
Going into the gun with going to the airport with a loaded gun, not once but twice, not a big deal.
Bad.
Driving with
He
a
could
driver's
have
license,
He could have
Not once, but
survived
twice.
that. It's
not
dumb.
a big deal. Yeah, insider trading, not a big deal.
Normal.
Cocaine
Everyone
sex
does
orgies. That's the problem. That's the problem.
that. Yeah, everyone does insider trading. Tom Malinowski won a competitive congressional race in a presidential year while doing insider trading at the same time as he was running.
I mean, heck, Richard Burr had that, supposedly happen. Some suspicious things going on.
Are you guys having trouble with the Elections Daily website?
No. Why?
It keeps crashing.
Hmm.
Might be. Hopefully, it's because of traffic.
That'd be nice.
That'd be a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that it's working fine for me.
Okay, cool.
Getting good traffic though, so
Good.
Hurrah.
Hurrah.
I do want to give a heads up here to the Pennsylvania lieutenant governor's race. It looks like moderate state rep from Allegheny, Kerry Del Rosso, is starting to run away with it. Rick Saccone and Teddy Daniels, who are the more MAGA candidates, are kind of basically splitting the vote right now, it seems like, between the two of them.
Wait, Rick Saccone is flubbing an election? Oh my God.
So it seems like right now that Del Rosso, it's only about 39% in, but it is feeling like Del Rosso will probably be Doug Mastriano's lieutenant governor nominee, as well as it looks like that Austin Davis has been confirmed by the New York Times to be the lieutenant governor nominee of Josh Shapiro. So that's a good win for Democrats. They were worried about Sims potentially breaking through. That has not happened. Luckily for them, all of the mailers they sent out seem to have worked. So
Austin Davis seemed like the type of candidate that would do well in Pennsylvania.
I can understand that.
I'm sorry, Brian Sims is not the former Republican who became a Democrat.
No.
Who's that?
I forget.
Okay,
I don't know who you're talking about, quite honestly.
I thought he was running. I don't know. It's been a long night.
Yeah, it has been a long night. That is for sure.
I'm kind of running on fumes. I'm focusing on one race.
Yep. Does kind of feel like that for sure.
So what do we think Cawthorn's going to do with his last 7 months? What stupid nonsense?
I don't know. He
about
could
to
do
get up
something
there?
really stupid, quite honestly. If he would want to, he could do something really stupid.
He has proven he has the capacity to do really stupid things.
Very true. I do want to give an update now on the Pennsylvania Senate race. According to DDHQ, we have a shrunken lead here right now between McCormick is now leading by only about a percentage point.
8,000 votes.
Between David McCormick and Dr. Oz. McCormick at 32%, Oz at 31%. Kathy Barnett still languishing at around 23%. It continues to be increasingly likely that Kathy Barnett will not be the nominee tonight for Republicans in the Senate race. There was a lot of early hype around her race. It continues to look increasingly likely that Barnett will not be the nominee tonight, that is good news for Pennsylvania Republicans. We have succeeded in something.
Another very good meme, Eric.
I didn't make that. I found that on Reddit.
Oh, okay. Very good curation. So yeah, about a 7,000 vote lead for McCormick. I feel like people are underestimating Oz's capacity to do well in a general election.
Hmm.
I think they're severely underrating him. He has a weird type of appeal where I could see him getting a bunch of suburban counties back.
I could see him doing better because he's not ideologically offensive to anyone, unless you're like a Republican and he's endorsed by Trump. So like,
Or
do
me.
you care? Yeah.
I mean, I find.
I mean, if you like quack medicine, then that's
Hold on. I'm sorry. We have an update.
Go ahead.
In PA 12. Steve Irwin still leads 42-41. The margin is down to about 900 votes.
Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. That is tight.
That is
Mhm.
very tight. So it looks like the tweet I'm reading does not have the amount of precincts that came in. I'll wait for Decision Desk to update.
Yep. Chuck Edwards has told his watch party that Cawthorn has conceded.
Wow.
That's actually a little surprising. I was not expecting him to concede. I mean, that's close to recount territory.
I mean, look, maybe the way he sees it, he's got 7 months to do everything he ever wanted to do.
What did he want to do? What was his thesis coming in?
In theory, it was to represent a new generation of Republicans to work across party lines, even with people like AOC, because there are things they can agree on. To ditch, losing social issues like gay marriage, to not fight over Confederate monuments, and then the moment he's elected, cry harder, lib. Once January 6th, and it just got worse. So,
I want to go back to something that Joe said at the beginning of the night, or that Eric said. I can't remember which of you said it. That there are concerns that this will make it harder for another generation to start running. I don't think it's because of Cawthorn, but I do think Cawthorn exemplifies a problem that our generation is going to have. Our entire lives are documented. Every mistake we've ever made is documented online. We are going to have a long laundry list of red flags. And if campaigns don't start learning to delete their social media campaigns, Kathy Barnett, or their social media profiles, they're going to be in bad shape.
Yeah.
Kathy
Again,
Barnett.
Don't just delete your tweets. Delete your account.
Yes. Delete the account. Delete
everything. All
everything.
Of it. Just delete it.
Erase yourself. Be away from the planet.
Escape, liberate your tweets from the void of existence.
Yes. Yes. Unalive your tweets.
Cast them away into the abyss.
And I know it's not super important, but it seems that Fetterman has pulled ahead in Philadelphia, beating Kenyatta, and McCormick's margin has shrunk more to 6,000 votes.
Yeah.
And here's some from our friend Cindy C9, who does some stuff with RRH. Oops, come on. I think my iPad just died.
Can I confess something kind of embarrassing? I've seen him on Twitter for years. I've never known how to pronounce his name until just now.
Oof.
This is what I assume it's called. If you can see this, I can't actually see this. I'm controlling a screen. I can't actually see myself.
Yep, we got it. I can see it.
Yep, we're good.
Red is Cawthorn, yellow is Edwards. And you can see Cawthorn did really well in rural areas, and Edwards did really well everywhere else, and especially in the city of Asheville. With this close of a margin, I would actually not be shocked if unaffiliated voters or even Democrats push this over the line. Tactical voting. I would not be shocked by that at all. I think it's something you have to genuinely consider with us.
Yeah.
If my iPad's at 2%, the screen is not going to last much longer. I have
So,
my iPad over here to do sidecar for election results and whatnot.
so just for PA12 again, these are the results right now. The Allegheny absentees were 51-31 for Irwin. The election day was 52-31 for Summer Lee. The Westmoreland absentee was 65-18 for Irwin, and the election day is 50-27 for Irwin. So it's going to be close, but that monstrous margin in Allegheny, I think, will put her slightly over.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly. Another batch in for the Senate race. The lead is down to 0.7%, 5,000 votes.
Wow.
Yeah, look, it can't be called, but I think Oz clearly is headed towards
There's momentum.
Yeah, there's momentum. He's headed
Osmentum.
Osmentum. Random thought. Can we bring back Donna Shalala?
What brought that on?
Literally nothing. Just a random thought. Can we bring back the Shalala memes? Those were fun. Those were good times on Election
That was so
Twitter.
old. I remember we had a Minecraft server, and there was a guy on the server who had the Shalala City.
God, the Minecraft server. That is old.
That was fun. I liked the Minecraft server.
We had a Discord server once.
Yeah.
That's gone.
I shouldn't have deleted it. There were some good photos there. I liked my city. Scott City after Rick Scott, back when I was the only one predicting that he would win. The only one.
You were
I got
the
every
only
Senate
one.
race right. I got every race in 2018 right for the Senate side, except for Arizona. And even that winner turned out to be a Republican. So, I think I have a pretty good record on that.
That's pretty good, Eric.
Yeah. So maybe thank you for bringing this on, Eric. Maybe a comparison that most people won't agree with, but I think is actually kind of apt. If we see Kurt Schrader go down today, I would not feel comfortable if I was Kirsten Sinema.
Yeah,
They have been very similar in their behavior. Schrader's been a little worse, granted. Sinema didn't call the impeachment of Trump a lynching to then vote for it, which is very odd.
Yeah.
But I just posted this up. It's an older map. There's a little bit of a difference in some of the counties overall.
I'm sorry. Can
I go right ahead?
Update in from Pennsylvania 12. The margin is down to 360 votes.
Wow.
Summer Lee 41.3, Steve Irwin 41.6. She's taken the lead in Allegheny 42 to.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's It's Westmoreland that's hurting her right now, but even there, she's improving her margin.
Mm-hmm. In Allegheny, she's actually up by 2.6%. In Westmoreland, she's up. She's still down 39, but she used to be down by even more.
Yeah, she's getting demolished in Westmoreland.
Mm-hmm. Which, again, should not be part of the district.
I don't.
Right out there,
I don't disagree. I do think that margin is going to shrink. I mean, yeah.
But I was just going to point this out, which is that these are the unaffiliated voter numbers from a year ago. They're a little bit different now, but you can see right here,
Oh,
Western North Carolina, many unaffiliated voters who can choose which party primary to vote in. I would need to do an actual analysis of this later, but I would be shocked if there were not enough Democrats that voted in the Republican, or ordinarily Democratic primary voters who voted in the Republican primary just to vote Cawthorn out. That would not surprise me at all.
Margin has shrunk once again. Irwin is only up 118 votes. That's really close.
Sure.
Larry Hogan has officially congratulated Chuck Edwards.
Cool. Congrats, Larry.
Sure, he didn't endorse Chuck Edwards, I'm pretty sure, but he'll take credit for Chuck Edwards. So,
it looks like based on what's left, 69 precincts out in Westmoreland, 120 out in Allegheny.
nice.
In PA 12. That's, I don't know. I'm not going to make a prediction.
I would call, but
Yeah.
I would rather be Summer Lee.
I would rather be Summer Lee, but I'm not very confident. Westmoreland just doesn't have many votes.
And here's the wild thing, though, is that so I keep going back to this. Madison Cawthorn spent $3.6 million in this race. He got 31% of the vote. That is really bad. It is really, really bad. What's going on in GOP primary PA 07? What is going on in that primary? I actually don't know. Oh, yeah, Lisa Scheller, Kevin Deliker. Any idea what's going on there?
It's apparently much closer than expected.
Any reason why?
In favor of who?
In favor of Schilliker. I don't really know why.
Kevin Deliker, whoever he is.
Deliker, yeah, not Schilliker.
Who is
Deliker.
Deliker? Who is Schelliker?
Schiller. Scheller is the nominee from 2020. Deliker, I don't know who he is.
He is his website has him and a dog. And
Good,
there's one
like that.
Yeah, so on the website, first thing, if there's one word that defines America, it's freedom. That's when let's keep America free. And the picture is him with his dog. Strong families, good jobs, safe communities. I don't see any election conspiracy theories yet. That's
Okay,
a good sign.
That's very
good. That's a good sign.
That's a win. Someone in the chat, a couple people, or no, it's the same person, asked who we think has the better chance of beating Fetterman, Oz or McCormick. McCormick is the traditional Pennsylvania candidate, so I would imagine he would, but Oz is a wild card, and I think people are severely underestimating him. So,
this just seems like a normie conservative stuff. There is a section on election integrity. Doesn't spread conspiracy theories. This is good. This is good. Keep the government from interfering in local elections. Prohibit activists from changing rules at last minute. Investigate any instance of voter fraud. Okay, that's not awful. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not as good as I'd like. But...
Nothing crazy. No immigration moratorium. Seems like a pretty normal conservative. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. This is not a Lauren Boebert situation. I don't think.
Well, that's good.
Oh, no, there are some potential issues, actually.
Now, what's going on there?
Oh boy, what do we got?
Let me check. I'm just making sure. He may be a bit too conservative on abortion.
Oh dear.
How too conservative on abortion?
Apparently, according to this interview, opposes even rape and incest.
Uh-oh.
But that's not on his website. That's not on his
not-
website.
That's not great.
Yeah, that's not on his website, though, so I really don't know.
well,
This is
I
from the
don't know-
morning call.
I don't know how much I'd advertise that.
Yeah. Critical race theory, transgender stuff. That's pretty typical.
Yeah, not ideal, but
Yep. It seems like aside from the abortion thing, which is only on this website, not on his website, we'll see. I think my iPad has finally died. Second screen.
I would just like to say Connor Lamb did not win a single county in the Senate primary.
F.
The only county Fetterman hasn't won is the one that hasn't reported.
Interesting.
Will that be the Lamb Haven? Somehow I doubt it.
Which county is it?
Or no, there are 3 counties that haven't reported: Bedford, Potter, and Juniata. I don't know.
Juniata is correct. That's the correct way to say that.
Oh, great. Okay. So we have more votes in from Westmoreland.
Okay.
15 precincts out of Westmoreland netted Irwin a couple hundred votes. The precincts out, 54 in Westmoreland, 120 in Allegheny.
Gotcha.
So gonna come down to, it's literally gonna come down to like 200 or 300 votes.
Well, thankfully, Pennsylvania does not have any issues counting votes or delivering mail ballots late.
No, definitely not.
Wow. This is bad. That's not good.
What? Oh,
Just
what
how
I just
close
said.
the race is. That's probably not good.
Thankfully, it's not
wait,
a
hold
Republican
on.
primary.
I'm sorry, we have some more results in. Summer Lee has taken the lead.
Ooh.
Wow.
51.53 to, or 41.53 to 41.49. About 47 votes separate them. Yeah, I think it's going to be Summer Lee, but
If you care about Predict It, McCormick is up big on Predict It right now. Not sure why.
I don't know why. The momentum's clearly not with him. Like, don't get me wrong, he's doing way better than I expected, but so unironically, how many K-Hivers don't vote for Fetterman in the general election? I've already seen a couple.
Why don't they like Fetterman?
Because he endorsed Bernie in 2016.
And 2020.
And I thought he endorsed Biden in 2020. I actually
He
no.
endorsed Bernie to start.
He
So
did.
what is this SD7 race that's close?
SD, yeah, the special election.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a special election in
And there's
Northeast
the General Assembly District 5, the
Is that
Dillon.
supposed to be close? Hey, somebody with my name is running. Is he horrible?
Well, I have a doppelganger running against Marjorie Taylor Greene.
In a
That's right.
Republican primary here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I mean, according to some on Twitter, we joked, you're not me. Apparently, according to some, I'm a radical liberal, according to some on Twitter. So
God, what do people think I am if you're a radical liberal?
A communist.
Okay, fair
A
enough.
radical communist.
As opposed to a moderate communist.
Yes.
I'm a communist who likes to reach out to both sides.
Bipartisan communist.
That's a good one. I like that one.
We could have two parties, and they're both the Communist Party.
McCormick's lead at 5,000 votes now.
Ooh.
So, Eric, you want to make a deal on communism? You radical
That's
liberal,
terrible.
Apparently, Comfortably Smug is saying there's a McCormick surge happening, so I don't know what's going on.
That's interesting.
Sandy Smith appears to have won the North Carolina 1 primary.
That's not good.
That's not good.
So, Opinion Haver on Twitter, who I've been following for a lot of the results tonight, in PA 12, did some math, and so just gonna read what he said or what they said. He said Summerlee has been netting about 15.6 votes for every Allegheny election day precinct, and Irwin's been netting about 15.9 out of every Westmoreland precinct, which, if that were to continue, would mean a 600 vote victory for Summerlee based on the amount of precincts left. So he's been doing a lot of good math. I would highly recommend following him. Yeah, I'm feeling it too. And I slept good.
We're 20 minutes out, guys. 20 minutes.
I slept good last night and I'm dead.
Mm.
Planet Central asks how we think Kurt Schrader's chances are. I think he's going to lose. He's the wrong mixture of very, very, very moderate and also pissed off the local Democrats. You can be moderate as long as you don't make every enemy you can in your district. Schrader made a lot of enemies, and whether that's a competitive district or not, whether the progressive has a better chance or not, you don't piss off the local party. I'm sorry, but if Schrader loses tonight, the voters aren't to blame for that. That's on Schrader.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone always says progressives need to run better campaigns. Well, when moderates go down, maybe it's because they should have run a better campaign.
Very true.
I do have something interesting, though. So, Joe,
Yes.
what does a Mastriano Oz voter look like?
Someone who really likes Donald Trump.
I was about to say that's very easy, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not necessarily a hard thing to
I
think
think
about totally.
I think the better question is, what does a Lou Barletta, Kathy Barnett voter look like?
A lunatic? Someone who just wants to see the world burn?
So Heath Ledger's Joker.
I mean, like a boomer conservative that likes normal Republicans, but also likes Kathy Barnett. I don't know.
Wants to vote for a black Republican so that they don't get called racist,
Maybe.
but also really likes moderates.
So Joni Ernst, basically. I mean, Joni Ernst has been she's been having to defend that endorsement. She endorsed Barnett for no reason.
She endorsed Barnett?
Yeah, she endorsed Barnett.
Why?
She's a veteran.
That's not a good enough reason.
She endorses veterans.
You got to do better than that. No, I'm sorry. You got to do better than that.
She's a veteran.
Look,
is that? Are we talking about the Ernst endorsement?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was stupid.
gotta do better than that. Gotta do better than that, Joni.
She's been on a defensive about that too. Like it's not been very good.
All right, so we are about 15 minutes out from us calling the night here, just because again. Oh, I should mention, technically Idaho's closed. Should probably take a look at those because they've been closed for almost 45 minutes now.
Do you have anything from
Probably should take a look there. Well, that's what I'm going to check.
Wait, what closed? I'm sorry.
Idaho. They closed at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh, Idaho. Okay, I'm waiting for the call.
No
for
results
the
from
governor's
Idaho.
race.
No results from Idaho?
Feel like you can call that at zero. Feel like you can call that at 0%.
Yeah, New York Times doesn't have any results in
you
either.
jerks.
Idaho's a weird state.
Only partially closed, apparently. Probably a separate time zone thing.
Also, I'd just like to say that my
Don't be-
favorite.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
All I was going to say was my favorite part of the election day ecosphere is the interviews with voters, because voters are really strange.
Like the election bot account?
No, like when journalists go and interview people at the polls.
What was the one who was like the guy who's voting for John Fetterman in the primary because he's relatable, but wouldn't vote for him in the general because he doesn't dress correctly?
Or
voters are weird.
Or this one, a Fetterman supporter who believes she is the first woman in Pennsylvania to become a union sprinkler fitter.
A what?
Union sprinkler fitter? Just bizarre.
Well, no, it reminds me of that, like the voter bot account that was like, this voter supports Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, and immigration rights, and they voted for Donald Trump in 2016.
Where did that account go? That was a great account.
I don't know.
Bring that account back.
Or, this voter opposes abortion in all circumstances, opposes gun control, and hates environmental regulations, voted for Jill Stein.
I know that they said those voter descriptions were fake, but I am 100% convinced that every single one of them still represents a real voter. Let's see.
Yeah, still got a lot left to go here. But we've got about 13 minutes left, so I'm just going to throw it to the panel here. Dylan, since Eric had to go somewhere. Dylan, what kind of is your takeaway from the night so far?
I don't think there can be a single takeaway. The Trump endorsement is a powerful thing. It won Mastriano this race. But as we saw with Cawthorn, it does not prevent somebody who's terrible and toxic from crashing and burning.
Very true.
Yeah, I don't think I have any singular takeaway. The election rule remains. If you raise more money and you spend more money, you're probably going to win. That's really all I got.
Yeah. Eric, are you back? Do you have something for me here? I want to hear your take.
My takeaway is don't F with Tom Tillis. That's the number one takeaway.
That's fair. That's fair.
And also, like I don't really know too much about Pennsylvania, to be honest. So I can't follow too much there. But the North Carolina stuff just kind of reiterates that voters here kind of just want normal people. And like, I haven't seen anything ridiculous aside from the Bo Hines appears to have won, Sandy Smith appears to have won. Those aren't great. But Cawthorn, yeah, that's absolutely fine.
If you're a quiet, crazy person, you can probably win. Just don't be so loud about your craziness. I will
takeaway from Pennsylvania is that we're going to have a really weird freaking election because we're going to have Doug Mastriano as the governor nominee. with Kerry Del Rosa was the lieutenant governor nominee who's called out Mastriano, and one of Dr. Oz or Dave McCormick as
That's gonna
the
be fun.
nominee. So we're gonna have a very weird night. We're gonna have a very very weird election season.
Yes. It's also a bad night for the party decides people.
Very true.
Very bad night for them because the party decided on Connor Lamb and the wet blanket lost.
The party may have decided, but voters appear to have decided differently.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. To quote Emperor Palpatine, they are the Senate.
They are the Senate indeed.
Like, we'll have to see if the big dude factor matters in November. Like, Fetterman genuinely had a scary health situation that I hope is resolved. The pacemaker seems to have, hopefully that's fine. Nothing happens there. But if it does, that can be a factor in a campaign. That is worth keeping an eye out for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And McCormick's lead remains at about 5,000 votes, 31.8 to 31.2. It will be a very good night for geographic voting if if Dave McCormick and Doug Mastriano both win, because there's no ideological similarity between them.
Mm-hmm.
Very good day for your meme of a voting system, Joe.
Very true. Very true indeed. Glorious to the memes. All hail the memes.
Glory to the memes.
Glory to the memes. All hail memes. So we're about 9 minutes out here, folks, from us taking the leave.
Yeah, this has been a long night. We'll be
This
back.
has been a very long night for sure. And we thank you guys all for staying with us tonight for sure. Really appreciate it.
But we'll be back tomorrow for Oregon and Idaho and cleanup here.
Just all the cleanup. That's very true.
All the cleanup. Watch something insane happens Thursday.
Well, that'd be fun.
Like Thursday morning, something just stupid happens.
Not totally impossible. All right. So again, as we kind of give a final update here for everyone, we're going to give a final update here on the Pennsylvania Republican primary for Senate. Dave McCormick currently has a relatively small lead of about 0.6% with about 82% of the vote in. So it's going to be between McCormick and Oz for the Senate race. We are also seeing an incredibly tight race between Summerlee and Steve Irwin that may touch recount category in the Democratic primary for the new safely drawn D12 seat. We have not seen any results out of Idaho yet. Oregon will close after we are done tonight. So I'm going to actually kind of leave it right now to final statements here. And so a final statement from Eric tonight.
Yep. This is certainly an entertaining night of elections. Want to see what comes out of Oregon and Idaho. Idaho shouldn't have anything too interesting, but Oregon could have a couple of interesting races. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to tomorrow.
Yeah, very entertaining night. I had a lot of fun, even if I'm utterly exhausted. Looking forward to seeing the cleanup we have to do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess with Tom Tillis, I guess.
And Joe?
Yeah, thank you guys all for watching. I'm sorry, I'm still following some of the election local stuff. It looks like my state senator will win his primary from the crazy man. This is also very good news for me in potential jobdom. So hooray.
Hooray!
Hooray for that, for future career options.
We like employment.
Yes,
Mhm.
employment, good.
Jobs are good.
It would be employment that would allow me to stay here past my college graduation, which I want to do. So that is a success in itself. So ladies and gentlemen, though, it is 10:55 p.m. Eastern time. We have been on for almost 4 hours now. I want to thank everyone for watching. We were hitting around 60 viewers at one point on YouTube consecutively. That is a new record high for us. So thank you guys so much. We wish Kraz could be here with us tonight. We know he would have made it a little bit more entertaining. He comes in with the quips sometimes, and he's really intelligent guy. He will be here, though. Next week is just as big, folks. Do not forget that. Alabama, Texas runoffs, Georgia. Next week, folks. It's going to be a show still next week. You're going to want to come back for next week, folks. We'll be back here live next Tuesday for some more big primaries out in those states.
Mhm.
This is not yet over. This, folks, was just the beginning of a crazy week-long stretch of primaries. Next week could be even crazier. I want to thank you guys all for showing up tonight. Again, last thing, if you're new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we'll be back here tomorrow night for Elections Weekly as a special Recap Wednesday edition. Also, please follow our Twitter at elections-daily on Twitter. That's where you'll see us post there. And if you want to watch our live streams on Twitter instead, we'll have them there too. Thank you guys all so much for watching tonight. We're going to take our leave and have a great rest of your evening. We will see you tomorrow for Elections Weekly to hopefully recap most of the results that we see from tonight. Thank you all very much.